trick that started from this tropic port aboard this tiny ship. The mate was a mighty sailor, and the skipper brave and sure. 5 passengers set sail that day for a 3-hour tour. A 3-hour
Where are you? Okay. I know.
The tiny ship was tossed. If not for the courage of the fearless crew, the minnow would
Okay, sounds good.
The minnow would be lost.
Yeah, we're just about. We're doing intro right now.
With Gilligan,
Yep.
The skipper too,
No.
a millionaire and his wife.
Okay, good.
The movie star, the professor and
Okay, buddy. You got it.
here on Gilligan.
I'll see you in a bit. Looking forward to it.
Good morning, everybody, and Macon, Georgia, and everyone else around the world through
Good
the
morning,
World
good
Wide
morning.
Web. This is the Morning Roast for Thursday, April 11, 2013. I'm here, DB, right here with Irving Martinez, and behind the Wiz of Steel is Macon Scarioki. Ed
And
Einbach.
Anthony, as usual, is late.
Yes, he's picking up some
Gotta
guests on the
fire
way
this
here.
guy. Actually, he's picking up breakfast for us.
Yeah, that was all I had was just Honey Nut Cheerios, but that's neither here nor there.
Hey, that's more than I had. All I had was
Coffee.
4 or 5 sips of coffee and a cigarette. Anyway, good morning, everybody. I'm glad that we're here.
Mm-hmm.
We today have a very special show. We got a lot to talk about, first of all.
Mm-hmm.
But secondly, we also have a couple of guests that are going to come in. We got, of course, our usual stand-in, Chris Payne.
Mm-hmm.
And we have another guest, Bryant. He's been on a couple of times.
Yeah, it's back.
Bryant,
Brian,
whatever the hell his
I forgot
last
his last
name is.
name. Yeah, he's
Anyway.
been on here before when we used to be. Used to have our show at the Roasted
At Roasted,
Cafe.
yeah, he was at Roasted, and interesting guy, very low key, but he does chime in, and he's an anti-Lincoln guy. So any anti-Lincolnites out there, you're gonna love this guy. But I just put out another video last night, and I'm hoping that people are checking my Facebook, especially those of you who are my friends on Facebook. I'm not sure what Vorpalbite is, but Three Bears and Obama Cat, I'm not sure whether you are either. But these are my videos that I put out are really strong videos.
Mm-hmm.
And gets to the point. I talk about a lot of the issues that are going on in my neighborhood, and I'm hoping that people take the time out and hear them. Good morning, Sick Weird Itio. How do you pronounce that?
What was it? Sick with you.
Sick Weird Ito.
Sick with you.
Sick Weirdo. Whatever.
Well,
Got the stupid ass names you can't even pronounce.
anyways,
Vorpalbite, what did you guys do to get kicked out of Roasted? Actually, we weren't kicked out, Vorpalbite. The fact is that we were starting to be made a little bit unwelcome. It was becoming very uncomfortable going in there at 7 o'clock in the morning, everybody all pissed off, and it just turned into, let's just do it at my house.
Well, and plus that, and plus their online, their internet service wasn't that, their Wi-Fi wasn't that great.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Wasn't that clear.
It wasn't clear,
Wasn't
and
strong.
we were completely always just about, if you remember Vorpalbite, you've been there that long, you've been around that long. If you remember, we kept going down every few minutes.
Yeah.
Now we go down every few hours, but at one time, every few minutes.
Yeah, no, we
were
got a
getting-
problem. Ever since they hooked that guy's phone up, we've had problems.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, they got a thing.
But Ed's been doing a great job making sure that we stay online, and Ed's got 2 computers going off at once, so he keeps a good track of what's happening with us on the show.
Mm-hmm.
What's in the news?
Well, right now,
Let's start with the weather.
Well, the weather in Macon, Georgia, it's 59 degrees outside of Macon, Georgia, with a high of 83 and a low of 63. So it's going to be hot, but it's going to be some
Get that
showers.
story I sent you?
Yeah, I got the story.
My French brother?
Wafflebyte says big round of applause for you, Ed.
Thanks, Ed.
Wafflebyte.
Thank you.
Hey, I never said a bad word about you, Wafflebyte. Only Ant and Herb do.
Oh, he gets
I'm
under
going
my
to call
skin
you
sometimes,
Marvin.
but
You
I
remind me
love
of a
Wafflebyte.
Marvin.
What was that?
You remind me of a Marvin.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Marvin. Marvin?
I got a couple of vids that I want to send you. They're short, 2 minutes. Can we do that?
How you going to send them to me? Put them in your video folder.
Okay.
And
I'm
I
not
get
sure
a
what
lot
that
better.
is. But
Show them where it is.
I never know. You know, you can teach me something, you got to repeat it. Anyway, so weather was...
59 degrees with a high of 83 and a low of 63.
It's going to rain
Yeah,
today.
it's going to rain hard, and they said 100% chance of showers. So there's no way of hiding it or ducking and dodging.
Yeah,
unless you
it's
stay
gonna
indoors.
rain, folks.
Yes, it's going to rain. So so those who are going to be going to the sneak preview of 42, the movie 42.
Is that
and
tonight?
Yeah, that's tonight before it plays nationwide. Definitely bring your umbrellas and galoshes if you have them, but definitely your umbrellas, because I'm not gonna let some rain stop me for me and my mom to go see my movie, see 42. It's not my movie, but I'm finally in a movie that didn't go straight to DVD for once, so
I like that.
yeah. So finally,
Well, what do we got in the news?
let's see. There's a news that deputies shoot an injured man who fired a crossbow at them, sheriff says, in Orlando, Florida. It says authorities responded to the
Do
home.
you know Ed knows this guy?
It says Tim Collaney. Tim Collaney. You knew this guy, Ed?
Ed! That's Ed. We're talking about the
Yeah,
crossbow
it's my friend's
guy.
little brother.
Tell us, give us a little background on
He's
this
always
guy.
been a troublemaker. Ever since we lived in Florida.
He doesn't want to associate himself too much with him, but this guy, Ed knows, and Ed knows his brother, really. Ed's was a good friend. They were here.
Mm-hmm.
His brother was here.
Right. Are you able to play the video on it? Okay, I'll just go ahead and preface it. There's this guy named Tim Collaney who...
Kaklani.
Ugh.
Kaklani.
Okay, I would be pissed off too. Shoot, if I had a name like that, sheesh.
I don't know why.
Sound like colonoscopy or something like that.
Colonoscopy, yeah.
Ew.
Hey,
What?
y'all, the camera may be a little blurry. I don't know what it is. I tried to figure it out.
Okay.
Live with it.
So basically,
Yeah.
his name means asshole based or something. So that should be a hint right there. But still,
Yeah, I can
But,
see it looks a little fuzzy, but it's all right, Ed. Not a big deal, is it?
I don't know what the fuck's going on, man.
At least we're on.
well,
Yeah.
anyway, it says authorities responded to the home of Sacramento court after they got a domestic violence call from the 18-year-old daughter of the suspect, identified as 18-year-old Tim Koklani. Landscaper Tim Wolf told WESH2 News that said he was doing work at the home when a man came outside and threatened him with a crossbow. It says, "We're working on his lawn," said Wolf. He came out with a crossbow and 2 guns and said, "Get off my property, the police are coming." And apparently the 18-year-old daughter is the person who initially dialed 911 after being involved in some type of an altercation with her father, who has a history of mental illness, said Orange County Sheriff Jerry Demings. When the police arrived, Koklani had barricaded himself inside. Are you able to play
That's
the video?
crazy, dude.
I've been waiting for you.
He's threatening
yeah.
the police with a crossbow,
Yeah.
and they shot him. I don't know if they killed him, but
Roll
they
them.
shot him.
Yes.
Sheriff Demings, we are live right now. What can you tell us about this situation?
Well, at about 9:22 this morning, we received a 911 call reference some type of urgent situation going on. One of the pieces of information that we were given was that there was an individual in the home armed, and he was stating that he was going to shoot a deputy or kill a deputy. And as a result of that, we responded with numerous deputies into the area, set up a cordon, and ultimately an individual from inside the home fired a high-powered crossbow through the front door. knowing that there were deputies outside the area. Then at some point, an individual appeared to have went into the attic of the home, kicked out the attic vent, and pointed what could have been some type of long barrel gun or something. As a result of that, a deputy fired a single shot, hit the individual. The individual, through communicating with him by cell phone, etc., came out several different times into the front yard. There was some debris, some propane tanks and other things that he had thrown into the yard. The deputies were concerned that this perhaps was some type of booby trap, and so they would not approach the individual. But ultimately, once the SWAT team got on scene, the individual did come out and he gave himself up. And at this point, he's been transported to the hospital. It appears that he has a non-life-threatening injury at this point, and that's it. So all total, it appears that the deputies did a fairly decent job today of protecting the citizens here in the area, protecting themselves. There was the subject is 40.
And there you have it. The sheriff's talking
That's
about...
the sheriff?
Talking about Mr. Tim Koklani. He says that according to the police, at some point, standoff Koklani fired a crossbow through the door at deputies and later fired a long gun through an attic vent. It says deputies fired back and hit Koklani. And said a deputy fired a single shot and apparently did hit the individual, said Demings. Orange County firefighters were called to assist with Koklani's injury, and he was placed under arrest, and he was taken to a hospital with a gunshot wound to the arm.
Yeah, well, let me tell you, that guy is in a lot of trouble. I mean, they're charging him with aggravated assault
right?
For his wife, aggravated assault for his daughter, and then there's 2 more charges. The weapons charge. So he'll be in jail for a while. They say it's about mental illness. Now everybody's using that as a cop-out.
Well, yeah, that's exactly the same thing with people back in the 80s used the insanity charge. Same thing because that's how Mark David Chapman didn't get the electric chair when he fatally shot John Lennon. Exactly the same way, the same reason John Hinckley Jr. used the insanity case, to keep from getting the death penalty when he shot then President Ronald Reagan. I mean, you got to be careful. A lot of people will use any type of excuse to get away with it. If they can do it, they'll try their best to use it. And that's
I'm not sure what's going on in the world, but I think people are going slowly nuts. Everybody.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't.
Prime example. What's going on is all these shootings. Look at what happened with that kid. You have that story? The one that went around stabbing everybody and
oh yeah, we talked about it yesterday. It was the Lone Star Community College. There was a guy who basically stabbed 14 people on campus, and so it's just kind of peculiar that I wonder whether or not if this guy actually thought about stabbing them because he thought, well, if I stab him, I might not go to jail compared to shooting him with a gun, a pistol.
Welcome to the Orange County Sheriff's Office website. It is my privilege.
Oops, that was the sheriff. I went to the website.
Oh, okay.
Trying to find his mugshot.
Oh, okay. Wow. But I was checking out some stories here, and wow, there's some wing dang doodles up in here. Somewhere in Atlanta.
How come some of these tweets you can't? If I tweet something on Facebook or if I share it on Facebook, how come I can't share it forward? It doesn't show up with a share on it. What's that all about?
I don't know. Sometimes
Facebook is screwing up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't share this video.
Here's a story here's about this somewhere a little bit local. It's in Atlanta, statewide. Atlanta's police chief says his department is reaching out to a community where people threw bricks at police cars in anger amid over a recent arrest. And you thought people talking about slashing tires were bad, Ed. Chief George Turner, Atlanta Police Chief George Turner said Wednesday.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, said Wednesday he wants to speak with community leaders to determine how to more effectively police the area. Police cruisers were pelted with bricks and hammers Tuesday night when patrol cars drove by a gathering of people at an apartment complex in the neighborhood of Northeast Atlanta. Residents of the neighborhood were reportedly upset after some said police used excessive force during an arrest in their area the night before that was caught on video. Turner says no formal complaint has been filed with the department. Both incidents are under investigation. Wow, that's incredible, right?
Wing dang doodle.
A wing dang doodle. That's it. Wow.
Wing dang doodle.
It's been spreading.
Wing dang doodle.
That's funny.
Yes.
And I'm sharing all these videos with Ed and let him pick out whatever he
Where are you
wants.
putting them?
All right. Well, the last one I can't even share because.
I didn't tell you where to share them, man.
Say again?
You have the videos on your computer?
Yeah. See, this is the video I wanted you to share.
Let me show you where to put them.
It's 8:25 a.m. Eastern Standard Daylight Savings Time in Macon, Georgia. You're watching the Morning Roast live from the Nut House. It's turbulent Thursday.
Right,
it's 59 degrees.
put them in here.
It's 59 degrees
Copy
outside.
them into there.
It's partly cloudy right now due to upcoming storms. Upcoming storms and
Copy them
showers.
into that new folder.
The
Okay.
high is going to be
And I'll get 'em from
83
there.
Got
today
it.
in Macon with a low of
Thanks,
63
buddy.
degrees. There will be 100% chance of showers, if not thunderstorms. So definitely keep your umbrellas ready because there's going to be some showers later today in the afternoon and possibly during the evening. But don't let that stuff hinder you from watching this sneak preview or anyone else going to the movies, particularly watching 42, which is going to be opening up in theaters nationwide tomorrow. Anyway, I found a news video of that about the movie critic who talked about the movie earlier this morning on WMAZ. Hopefully I'll be able to get that, send that to Ed, and we'll probably mention that, talk about that later in the show. But in other news, in Marietta, a Metro Atlanta couple is being held in a Cobb County jail after their special needs son was hospitalized with a brain injury. Authorities say that the child's father, 39-year-old Kenneth Thompson, is being held without bond on charges of battery and cruelty to children. The child's mother, 32-year-old Monica Nauf, is being held on $75,000 bond on charges of child deprivation and cruelty to children. The Marietta Daily Journal reports Thompson is accused of causing a brain injury that required the boy to be airlifted to Children's Health Care of Atlanta. Officials say that the boy's mother is accused of failing to seek timely medical treatment for her son's injuries. Nuff's attorney says her client is not guilty and expects her to be exonerated. It's unclear if Thompson has a lawyer or any type of legal defense.
I don't know how to do this shit. I copied it, put it on, it doesn't go on. It's fucking shit. I can't stand computers sometimes, folks. It makes it too complicated for you to get anything done. You gotta take 25 steps before you get anywhere.
Wow.
It's ridiculous. Here I am, I'm trying to send him a video. I can't even do that. I copied the video. I go to put it in the folder. It doesn't work.
Where's the video? Where's the video?
Yeah. That one.
No, man. Do you have the video on your computer?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I have it on my computer.
Just give me the copy of the video, not the link.
Oh,
You bonehead.
okay.
There you go. Copy the
All right, keep going there, buddy.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Okay, I'm just...
Yeah, yo, I don't know why the camera's foggy today.
I don't know how to do this. I'm not going to frustrate myself. My video is on my Facebook. If you want to download it, go ahead. If not, forget it.
Where's it saved on your computer?
It's
you
on...
You saved it on your computer, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
Where?
Can't you have... you have access to my computer.
Where did you save it on your computer?
On my desktop.
I can't get to your desktop. You got to copy it to that folder. Copy it from the desktop to that new folder I just made.
I see. Take it out of the...
Just copy it. Copy and paste it in the new folder.
Or drag it.
Just copy it. Take it easy.
Okay. I think I got it now.
Okay.
I think.
Well, in other news, Postal Service backs off plan to stop Saturday delivery. In Washington, the U.S. Postal Service has backed down from its plan to stop Saturday mail delivery. The Postal Service board said Wednesday that it will continue to deliver mail 6 days a week. In February of this year, the agency announced a plan to stop delivering mail on Saturdays except for packages and express mail. The board said Wednesday it decided to stay the course because of a congressional mandate for Saturday delivery that had been on the books since the 1980s. Congress decided to keep that mandate last month when it passed a funding measure to keep the government running. The Postal Service had been hoping Congress would strip that mandate out. It says, the board said in a statement, although disappointed with this congressional action, the board will follow the law and has directed the Postal Service to delay implementation of its new delivery schedule until legislation is passed that provides the Postal Service with the authority to implement a financially appropriate and responsible delivery schedule, quote unquote. Even though the agency had indicated its current plan to postpone the end of Saturday delivery, it's unlikely that move will happen anytime soon. For that to happen, the Postal Service needs Congress to act, and lawmakers have yet to step in to resolve Postal Service woes unless there's been a pressing deadline. The next financial crunch for the Postal Service will be in October, when the agency will again come dangerously close to not having enough cash to pay bills. When the Postal Service first announced its plan, unions and several lawmakers accused the agency of overstepping its legal authority. Last month, the U.S. Government Accountability Office sided with critics, saying current law requires the agency to continue 6-day delivery. The Postal Service had said its plan would not violate the law because it's only changing 6-day delivery, not ending it, since packages would continue to be delivered on Saturdays. Well, and that's so. What do you think about the Postal Service and Saturday delivery? Ed, Irv.
I'm sorry. I'm reading Alex Webb. He just said, I went out of my way to stay up and listen to the broadcast. Yes, I am the one who posted all the questions that you guys grabbed hold and got heated in discussion. Your problem of the network you're on, the people who are listening to the show, are the ones in the room. So interact with them more than yourself, and I think you will build, I guess he says, a better audience. Yeah, he's right. We have to interact more with our chatters. Chatters, what the hell are you writing?
Okay, I'll go ahead and get one right here. Uric Wildcat was talking about a story about the IRS. Here's a wing dang doodle right here. About a story about from thehill.com. It says about the IRS can read emails without warrant. It says the Internal Revenue Service has claimed that agents do not need warrants to read people's emails, text messages, and other private electronic communications according to internal agency documents. Wow. The American Civil Liberties Union, ACLU, which obtained the documents through a Freedom of Information Act, requested the information on Wednesday. In a 2009 handbook, the IRS said the Fourth Amendment does not protect emails because Internet users do not have a responsible expectation of privacy in such communications, quote unquote. A 2010 presentation by the IRS Office of General Counsel reiterated the policy. Under the Electronic Communications Privacy Act, ECPA of 1986, government officials only need a subpoena issued without a judge's approval to read emails that have been opened or that are more than 180 days old. Privacy groups such as the ACLU argue that the Fourth Amendment provides greater privacy protections than the ECPA, and that officials should need a warrant to access all emails and other private messages. Traditionally, the courts have ruled that people have limited privacy rights over information they share with third parties. Some law enforcement groups have argued that this means they only need a subpoena to compel email providers, internet service companies, and others to turn over their customer-sensitive content. But in 2010, a federal appeals court ruled that the police violated a man's constitutional rights when they read his emails without a warrant.
Okay.
So,
What
do
do
you
we got
think?
to
Do you
say
think?
to that?
Yeah. Do you think that's just a violation of the Fourth Amendment? There's no search or
What's
seizure.
the Fourth Amendment again?
Freedom of
Thou shalt not kill.
no search and
that's
no
the
illegal
Fourth
search and
Freedom
seizure.
from Big Brother.
Yes.
Oh.
We didn't know who Big Brother was back then.
Ed, I got a whole bunch of videos downloaded on there. Pick and choose whatever you want. Whatever
I just
comes
did
out.
the one you said.
They're all less than 3 minutes. Some of them are 3 minutes long.
Yes.
All right,
Thanks,
here we go.
thanks, Eric Wildcat, for that story. Because that is something to talk about. You know, people being able to read your emails and stuff. I mean, well, the government can read your emails. I'm starting to sound like Anthony now. Big Brother is taking over the government, you know.
Actually, it's the end of Big Brother now because even though there's a Big Brother called Facebook,
Yeah.
in reality, everybody's kind of
Their own Big
out
Brother.
there in their own
With their
little
camera
world.
phones and stuff. And
In their own little world.
Yeah, you got to worry about the little brothers and the cousins and the...
But since we have a guest
nephews and
coming on,
nieces.
I'm going to do a quick rundown of today's news in the Macon paper.
Okay.
You know, I'm going to do that quick one-line story.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can, you pick out which one you think we ought to talk about until this idiot gets here. Ready?
Okay.
3 people wounded in Macon shooting. 3 men were shot Tuesday night following a fight in the 2300 block of Adams Avenue. So I guess 3 men were shot there. 2, severe weather possible late Thursday, early Friday, middle Georgia. With the threat of severe weather looming late Thursday into Friday morning, middle Georgia could see damaging winds.
Mm-hmm.
Some Macon residents treated to early 42 screening. That's you guys. Warner Brothers, the studio that made the Jackie Robinson biopic 42, held a special screening at the Amstar 16 Theater Wednesday night for local officials and people who were involved in the movie. That was yesterday. I thought you said it was today.
Well, there's a special one.
A special one.
A special screening. Yeah, for those who were part of MAGA, the Macon Georgia Film Festival.
All right. Well, Perry Mayer takes a new job. Perry Mayer, Jimmy Faircloth, that's taking a job in education. I guess he was thrown out of office. Gunman robs Macon gas station. An armed man wearing a mask robbed the Circle K gas station at 4461 Ocmulgee East Boulevard at 3:40 a.m. Wednesday, according to news release from the Bibb County Sheriff's Office. In education, Houston Special Olympics seeks $25,000 grant with help from Facebook Public. For the past decade, you see, they can raise money on Facebook and I can't do shit. For the past decade, Houston County has given people with special needs something that many take for granted: a chance to compete, test their strengths and their willpower. Houston and Peach counties, ride prices at the Georgia National Fair to increase after state funding cut. With state funding for the Georgia National Fairgrounds and agriculture cut by 11% this year and 25% in 2014. Its overseeing board voted Wednesday to increase the price of tickets for midway rides at the Georgia National Fair.
Basically,
Who's
we're
that?
getting there, Bryce,
Who's
with me. We just had to deal with,
Get your ass over here, man.
we had to deal with slow-ass McDonald's employees.
Oh,
We're in
okay. I see.
We're right here at Eisenhower McDonald's. We'll be there in about 4 or 5 minutes.
Okay, we'll be here.
Thank you.
All right, get your ass here.
Man.
Fucker!
You don't need to hear what he has to fucking say. You should not be calling already. Just get over here.
If he can't have his fat face in front of the camera, he's got to have his voice on the camera.
It's ridiculous. Bibb Animal Welfare seeking missing ownership of handicapped dog. Bibb County Animal Welfare seeking the public's help to find the owner of a lost handicapped dog named Prince. Look at that. Look at that dog. He's got his own little card and everything.
Right. Definitely.
Anyway, the prices are going up at the Georgia National Fairground.
Yeah.
Macon police investigating robbery and attempt early Wednesday. Macon police are investigating an armed robbery and an attempt to hold up that happened about 50 minutes apart on Wednesday morning. There you have it.
Yep, there you go. There you go.
Quick roundup.
Definitely.
Out of all these, let's talk about 42.
Okay.
Now, first of all, how come I didn't get tickets?
How come I didn't get tickets?
You didn't get any either? You had to buy them?
Yeah, I had to buy them because
No shit.
I couldn't find that email to save my life though. I mean, I might have accidentally deleted it or something.
Oh,
But it
the
just
email.
Yeah.
Alright.
Because Anthony
And
said
found it.
he found it and got a link where he was able to get a free ticket in
Lucky
Chris
bastard.
Payne and Leslie Morales. But
That's what you call a lucky guy.
yeah, lucky, definitely a lucky guy. He was able to get a picture with Clint Eastwood and when they did film Trouble with the Curve last year. And see, I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to come up to Vaughn because I didn't want to mess up my check.
Yeah.
Because I was an extra. Well, we were both, Anthony and I were both extras. And I didn't want to mess up my check because they were like very strict. If you catch you taking a picture with the stars or anything like that, we're gonna kick you out the set and hey, the electric bill was due that month, so I didn't want to mess that up. But somehow some things just happen to work with Ant sometimes. Sometimes it works with him, sometimes it works with him, or sometimes it works with me. It just
Hey, by the way,
Yeah.
Gamer Girl, I heard about that infestation of those bugs.
yeah.
They don't really hurt anybody, but they're huge, so they're scary as hell.
They're huge and they're really, really loud. You're talking about the cicada bugs, right? Yeah.
So,
Yeah, no,
what do they say about them? How loud are they?
Oh, they're freaking loud. You'll definitely hear them in my mom's neighborhood.
You hear them already?
Yeah. You
What do
hear-
they sound like?
It sound like
A
a
siren?
yeah, kind of siren like, drone siren like that.
Give me an imitation. So the other.
I need some water. Well, they don't. Well, the bugs don't say that.
That's
but-
great.
They sound like when your ears are ringing.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
that like that. Yeah, exactly like that.
So I guess that's how my ears ring. That was his imitation of it. It was good, Ed. You missed it.
Oh man, DS Photo Guy says that's a good imitation. Thank you, DS Photo Guy. Thank you. Man, they used to keep me up all night, man, as a kid, especially during the
Wow.
summertime. Especially during the summertime.
Oh, look at that. We got a whole bunch of emoticons. Alright, well, who the hell knows?
Oh my God. DS Photo Guy says they were in St. Louis 2 years ago and they were deafening. Wow. Thanks, Earl. Thanks for the comment. That was a really good imitation. Thanks, boy. I tell you. 3 bears, I guess three pluses and 3 out of 4 stars. I guess that's not bad.
That's funny. Okay, I gotta figure out these emoticons now that this guy's sent them to me. How do we use them?
Just basically use them, I guess, in whatever they typed in the parentheses. You just type that in there to put what you want to say.
No, okay.
Whatever's in parentheses, you just write the parentheses and what's inside. What's inside?
Got it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, here we go.
Yeah. Lazy Chair says they won't be around for long. They won't be around for long. What was that? I'm trying to. Yeah, they won't be around for another
They
17
won't be
years.
around too long.
Yeah, these bugs, they hibernate for 17 years, and just basically, it's just a mating call, so they can just go ahead and mate. So they just basically, hey, what's your name here? What's your name here? What's your name here? Hey, hey, come over here, hey. That's basically what it is, just a mating call, so they can get the groove on and then just drop dead, because that's what.
Just copy them and paste them on the chatter if it's easier.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
Well, I tried to do that.
Yeah, Lazy
And
Chair says.
it says reload back,
Yeah.
save page as, view page, so I can't even copy them.
Yeah,
properly.
Yeah, they won't
Copy
be
the
around
whole
for another
thing. Once
17
you
years, so they
copy
might as well
everything,
eat some of them.
The
LOL.
parentheses and all.
Mhm.
I see. All right, here we go. What else is going on in the news?
Yeah, Earl, you said it right. Yeah, the cicada nookie call. That's true. That's pretty much. In other news, the Wilcox High official discussed the integrated prom. Public not welcome at meeting. Says for the first time ever, Wilcox County High School officials are considering organizing an official prom, and unlike the 2 student-sponsored prom events, everyone will be welcome. The yesterday meeting of Wilcox County High School officials was closed to the public, who said, Chad Davis, the principal, said the 2014 prom will be one of the items discussed, but that he would not speak before or after the meeting. The NAACP has gotten involved, and they are also working to ensure that next year's prom is integrated. Meanwhile, the racial tension in the rest of the Wilcox County community seems high. Upon entering town, an elderly white man yelled from his truck, "If you know what's good for you, get on out of here!"
Oh shit! Sounds like 42 last night.
And while shooting footage of the school, a homeowner began loudly playing a song with extremely racist lyrics. But students say the racism is primarily among the older generations. It says, we get along at the school.
DB.
That's okay.
You know when food comes in front of you, I know it's going to distract you.
Yeah, I know.
It's only natural.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, we get along at the school, but when we get home, it's a whole other thing. I think it's because of the parents, but not the students, but the parents, said Whitney Thornton, a senior.
Why? It's too early for me. Go ahead.
All right, keep going.
Keep going. I'm
But
sorry,
that's,
Brian's here, Daddy.
But anyway, they said they discussed.
Chris Payne's supposed to be here.
Wilcox High officials
Get over
basically
here, Brian.
discussed the
Yes.
integrated prom
Yes.
that they'll have for next year.
Can we scoot down a little bit, please, DB? Thank
Okay,
you.
we have Brian on the show.
Brian's saying, "Sorry guys, we're late. Go continue the story. I don't want to hijack this story." Brian's already got to say something.
Keep going,
Well,
Derek.
basically, the NAACP got involved with this story, and they're also working to ensure that next year's prom will be integrated for Wilcox County High.
And they don't want to open it up to the public.
Right.
Yeah, because they know the public may act out.
Yes.
That's a problem.
And Larry-
They're afraid of like a mayhem occurring.
Yeah. Larry Nesmith, the NAACP district coordinator, said that we met with the Board of Education last night. We all agreed that they were going to work at it next year more extensively for 2014. But this year, I'm proud to say that the parents and the citizens are coming together.
Yeah, we already had this
Wow.
on our show. We had the first story. Mm-hmm. This is the follow-up, which I heard about some
Yeah,
of this
well,
on the news.
you could pick up what we're starting over here.
This is pretty
Once
much
again, the reason
BS.
why they don't want to open it up to the public is because they know that there's going to be comments made there that are so racially charged that people may act out. So, because they're going to try to defend it. That's the purpose of the meeting.
Right.
The purpose of the meeting is not to have integration, but to see whether they can have integration.
Right.
And so you know right away there's going to be a few people there. That's in the north, huh?
Right.
Look at that.
Oh, this is Wilcox County. Well, no, this
That's
is a
in the
different
north.
story. This is a different
Oh, yeah,
story.
it is,
He's
yeah.
already flipping to a different story.
Yeah, I already got another story.
But Brian, we want to get your take on this. Good morning, everybody. Sorry I'm late, but I would have been even later had Bryant not come and got me.
Yeah.
Because Heather needed a ride to work, and I would have had to take her at 9:45, and it would still
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
Segue.
But the segue to this story is that
What happened to your car, the one
you
that
need
doesn't
to
go
segue to
backwards?
Huh? Oh, a segue to ride. Yeah.
What happened to your car, the one that doesn't go
It's back in the
backwards?
shop. Remember,
No.
I had to jump it off here.
Yeah.
I had to jump it.
Oh, it's still...
It's back, and then I got the van, my brother's van, but Heather needed a ride to work today. But what we did is I let Heather keep the van, and Bryant, I saw Bryant last night. We all hung out last night after 42, which we'll get to
Well,
a
I'm
little
glad
later.
Brian's here. Welcome, buddy.
And
I
that's why
said-
everybody is Brian.
Long time no see you.
P-R-Y-A-N-T.
Yeah, this is the guy that was on the chat board yesterday talking about the hot and heavy Civil War debate.
That's why I
Yeah,
asked
Brian
the
is a
Wilcox County
very
thing,
well-educated guy. He knows a lot about history, Civil War history.
Go with it,
Of
Brian.
course, he's on the other side of history, but...
The Wilcox County thing, that was those are private functions, right? That's not like the like official like public.
I don't think it
school.
is. That school is a public school.
It's a
I
public
know it's a
school.
public
That's
school,
not a
but I'm
private
saying I
function.
thought the prom itself was a private. Like
It might be.
Well, it might be,
It
yeah,
might be.
because they don't just
Comparison
allow
to
anybody to
That's
walk in
true.
there, yeah.
But still, it's just so backwoods. You have to admit
I
that.
don't know
You have
about
to
that,
admit
man.
that.
I don't think it's that backwards. It's just like
Come on, Brian.
people can relate with them with it whenever they
I
Well,
know,
want.
but come on.
Brian thinks it's okay to be
they wanna have, if
segregated.
they want to have an integrated prom, that's great. If they don't, that's fine too. I don't.
Well, I
it's
just
like,
think-
how dare you want to like hang out with certain people and now they're other ones. Like,
No, I agree with you saying you can't force people, but to solely base it on color, which is what they're doing, that's fucked up.
That's really
okay.
messed
I
up.
understand if you're going to go. I'm not going to force you to hang out with the meth head, but when you start just saying we're not going to let you hang out with someone only because their color's different, that's kind of screwy, Brian.
There you
gotta-
go. There's his
you gotta
proven
admit
colors
that.
right there.
You got, and I agree with you guys on this part.
Yeah.
We don't agree
Yeah, it's
necessarily
ridiculous.
on the Civil War being all about slavery, but with this case, I don't agree with you, Brian. I think that this is strictly color, which is just so lame and just so shallow.
Because
you know what I mean?
And it's hateful.
Shallow, but if it's like if that's what they want to do, I don't really.
It's
But
hateful.
it's just it's.
It's like,
I understand
how
you
dare
shouldn't
you
force.
hang
No,
out
I
with
agree. I'm Mr. You know, I'm Mr. I don't like shit being mandatory. I said I don't like them saying you got to spay and neuter your animals. That shit, you're right. Even though I think people should have the sense to do it, I don't like government coming in telling you what to do. But in this sense, it's like you're not just being forced to hang out with the dregs of society necessarily. You're just saying basically you can't have the same dance and have a building where some people of a darker shade are in there with you. That's pretty fucked up.
I mean,
It's
look,
not- it
look,
has
look
nothing
at
to do with-
like usually if you look at a city, if you like put a dot where all the black people are and put dots where all the white, usually they're like have like community, like they tend to stay separate and like.
Right, but my point is we have to get over that shit.
And sometimes
That is the thing about that.
And see, I'm glad Southwest, at least my prom was integrated. And this is, back in 1987.
Yep,
but
that
still,
was my graduating year.
But the thing is, like, see, that's fine when you only have the population of only black and white. What if you're a Latino and or Asian or
Exactly.
Middle Eastern?
Where do you fit in?
Right. Then you have like a tug of war between.
Right.
You have like these other groups of people. Then you have
Yeah.
It's like, hey, you have straight hair. But you have complexion.
Yeah, West Side Story.
Hey,
yeah, it's like a tug of war.
Yeah, you don't like their music. Yeah, hey, but at least you got rhythm.
Yes.
That type of stuff.
That's an awesome way, to describe it, Derek. That's true. And you know what I mean? But Brian, you have to agree to just go, hey, we want to have this with people of only our color. That's kind of lame.
Yeah, I think it's lame, but they just give a real hard time about it. It's just like a lot of people do lame stuff. Like,
Well, of course,
they're making this national event, like
because we talked about
White
it.
pride.
We talked about it, guys. And you know what? I'm not going to ruin 42 for you because you're here, but I so badly want to talk about that movie last night, and I will say certain things about it which won't ruin it for you. Who sees it
All right.
tonight.
Well, before you
And
go
it's a
into
good
that
segue.
whole 42
You'll love
thing,
it too. You'll love it.
we got
Because
other stuff we were
I
talking
sent a link to Ed.
We got
about
other
the
stuff
movie.
we were talking
About
about,
the
and I
movie
don't want to
critique
leave that
by
alone
Jackie K.
yet.
Cooper.
Okay, we'll go with
All
it.
right.
Keep your show
We're going to
going.
talk a little bit. We'll continue to talk about this racism thing.
Right, which 42
Which is
ties
a good
into
segue.
nicely. Yes.
It's a great segue.
Yeah.
But look,
What's up,
I
everybody?
had a 2-hour conversation with Al Tillman yesterday.
Wow. What time?
Okay.
In person or on
He
the phone?
called me.
Phone.
He called me, returning my phone call. He called me. And did you know that his father was killed in 1968 by the Macon Police Department?
I did not.
I did not know that either.
I didn't know that either.
No.
And so he listened to everything I had to say. He was completely quiet
Right.
while I talked for about 20 minutes.
Wow. That's pretty
And I
amazing that
said
Tillman
that-
was able to
yeah,
keep
it's a-
quiet. Did he bring
it's
up,
a
like,
record.
did he bring up, is there going to be any food there?
And there was not one thing that he disagreed
Love
with. Not one thing.
Right.
And he said to me, Irv, in this city, in this town, you have to work with all these people. I said, no, I don't have to work with them. He says, run your own campaign, but in the end, you got to build some bridges. I said, well, and then I laid out what I thought about the Junebug murder, that had Sutton gone down, right?
Right.
That, in effect, the whole police department would have gone down. Man, that man stood as quiet, you could hear a pin drop.
Wow.
And he said, I hear you, Irv, I hear you. He said, did you know my father was killed? That's when he let it out. My father was killed, I was raised by a single mom, by the Macon Police Department.
Wow. What year?
1968.
That is right before I was born.
Yeah, so
Right
he
before
was
Derek
raised
and I were
basically
born. Year
by a
before.
single mom.
Wow.
And his
And
father
Al's
was
about my age, right?
yeah.
We're about the same age.
I
he
think
was
he's a little older.
Yeah, that's saying he was only 2 years old probably when his dad was
Right.
killed. Because he's about 2
Father
years
was
older.
killed. So he's in with us, but because he's an NAACP former director,
president.
he's got to keep a very even keel about what's going on.
But I told him that. in person,
Then
that he needs to stand
I
out.
told him. Then I said to him, you know, I'm the only guy out there putting out videos, which Ed's going to show you.
Right.
My videos. I'm the only guy out there putting out videos, telling them about my platform,
Yes.
telling them about my ideas,
Yes.
telling them nobody else is doing that.
Yes.
Then I had it out with Paul Bronson
Yeah.
because Bronson is such a brown noser.
And he was at 42 last night. I'm going to get to that.
Okay.
So was Mayor Rickert. I'm going to get to that.
I'm loving
It's
it.
awesome. Yes, go.
Did the mayor see you?
He saw me.
We'll
get to that.
How was his reaction?
I
I'll
knew
tell
I
you.
knew you
I'll
were.
tell you.
You know what?
I
Let's
know you
skip
have
to
a
that.
story.
No.
I want to
That
hear
is
this
the
shit.
thing, man. 42 was a freaking awesome experience.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you why. But no, finish your Al Tillman thing. Finish your
Anyway,
Al Tillman thing. 'Cause
so
it's all
having this
segue. This is the
conversation
perfect
with Al
segue
Tillman.
show today.
Yeah. Having this conversation with Al Tillman for 2 hours yesterday
Right.
was a great moment because I felt like the voice is being heard. He also said to me, Irvin, you keep it up because there are a lot of people out there that like what you're saying.
Of course.
You know, they like what you're saying.
We know that. We know that. All of what we're doing on this show in reference to the Sammy
And
Davis
by the
Jr.
way, we
shooting,
have a big fan in Alex Webb.
we have a lot more people that like what we're saying that just don't admit it
Yeah.
out loud. I know that. I
Well,
know that.
Alex Webb.
I know
Alex Webb. Welcome back, C-Flug.
What's up,
I
bro?
was wondering where the hell you are.
Hello, everybody. Looks like a great crowd out there today.
The only thing,
Big crowd.
the
I've
only
only
thing
had
that
2.5
Alex,
hours sleep.
yeah, the only thing that Alex said that we ought to do is engage the chatters. So let's engage the chatters,
Do it.
and
Yeah, we don't wanna
and
ignore
then we'll
chatters.
move on.
Let me do a call. Do the roll call, Derek, so I can say
Okay.
hi to all of them.
All right, we're gonna have a call that says good morning to everyone.
And I love them all and appreciate them all.
Because 77, City Bum,
Salute you,
Sabuki,
salute
DS
you.
Photo Guy,
Photo
Earl, Big
Guy.
Skillet, The
Earl,
Bean, Vorpal
Bean.
Bite, Winchester
The
970.
bean's back.
You're right.
Yes, Urag Wildcat, Gamer
Gamer
Girl,
Girl.
Ellen Macon, Three Bears, Up Main, C Fluke, LWR
What's up, Lowell
Ventures,
Register?
Obama's Cat, and Planet X.
X.
Low register is on.
All right. Thank you guys and gals for being on.
Thank
Yeah.
you guys. Yes.
Let me preface real quick. I'm late as shit because Heather needed to ride to work.
It's all right. We're used to
Anyway,
it.
Chris Payne's supposed to show up. We're going to get Chris Payne on the dais also. We'll have a great
Oh, by
show.
the way, Chris Payne is endorsing Bronson.
Well, Bronson was at 42 last night.
Okay.
Here's 42 in a nutshell. We go to 42, okay? The MAGA Macon Film Festival gives a special screening by Warner Brothers, allowed. This is how tight security this place was. Mm-hmm. They checked you, make sure you had no cameras when you went in there.
Oh.
People, security, and representatives from Warner Brothers were there. This was a big schmooze fest, okay? If you had something to do with the festival, since I had Nick Chopper and the 40 Wolves of the festival, Tabitha Walker, president of MAGA, was nice enough to email me about 3 weeks ago and give me 2 tickets to this special screening last night of 42, which opens officially Friday. As y'all know, we've talked about it here forever. It was filmed in Macon, a lot of it. Well, who all else shows up at this fucking thing besides your film festival?
Mayor.
Alan Peake's there. I mean, we're talking big names here in local politics.
He's
Rickards
from
there.
Atlanta.
Yeah, but he's one of the representatives. For
Elaine
this. He's
Lucas.
up there. Didn't see Elaine. Miriam Paris is there.
Okay.
Paul Bronson's there. I think Danny Glover was there. Anyway, we walk in kind of late. Heather and I- the movie starts at
candidate,
7.
not the
Not the actor. The movie starts at 7. Heather and I walk in there about 6:40. They say they're going to lock the doors at 6:50. Not letting anybody in. After that, they're going to have the introductions at 6:40. We get there. I walk in. I'm wearing the same shit I had on during the show yesterday morning. I got the wife beater on, the camo pants. All I threw over was a button-up blue shirt, which I
What's
left
the
no
white
button.
beater?
The tank
Tank top shirt.
That was the shit I wanted to show yesterday.
Oh, okay.
They call it a wife beater
And then
because
I've
many
got-
TV shows they always have like the dude who always abusing his wife. He always wears.
And then I've
Their
got,
tank
and
top
then
shirt,
I've
they call
also
it white
got,
beater.
and I've also got the anarchy headband on with the anarchy symbol.
Ugh.
I walk in and I'm looking, and the crowd is already full. And I stopped to look to see if Chris Payne's there, because I know Chris is supposed to show up. Leslie, our friend Leslie, and her boyfriend David. If they're there, trying to see if we can get seats with them. And I look, and bam, my eyes hit Rickard. Bam. And he sees me, and he goes. He looks down. He's sitting there with his wife.
He's with his wife.
Or something, yeah, I think so. He's looking down, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be, it's going to be fun, because I knew. But I tell you what, everybody was really sweet to us. I'm going to tell you what, everybody gave us really Class A treatment from MAGA. Tabitha was really nice to us. Elliot Dunwoody was really nice. Tony Long Sr. went out his way to wave at us from across the freaking auditorium. They were all very nice.
Except for Rick.
Well, he wasn't nice. No, he was nice. He was very intimidated. Yes. It showed on his body language.
Seafluke says, "Did they say bless your heart?"
Now, can I ask you a question? How come I never got in on any of this? How come I never got a ticket?
Because it was only people associated with MAGA. See, I didn't know about this until I got the email from Tabitha Walker saying, you're entitled to free 2 tickets. Let us know if you want to use them to come to the special screening of 42.
2 to 3?
Sponsored by 2 tickets. 2 tickets is all you get. So that's why Heather went. You know, I had to take my wife. And anyway, I had no idea all these dignitaries were going to be there.
Yeah.
Until I show up and I start seeing all these people in there, and I'm thinking, okay, you know.
So how
guess
did
who else
Paul
was
Bronson
there? Jamie Gaudet was there. The police.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
How do you think Paul Bronson and this guy got their tickets? They're not part of MAGA.
No, but you're right. That's why you just as equally should have been invited. Because if you're a candidate like they are, you should have just as. But the difference is Paul Bronson was an extra on the movie.
Yeah, he was extra.
He was an extra. He played one of the groundskeepers.
Right, you're right. He was.
So it was a combination of getting extras and people associated with the city and the Macon Film Festival. That was all.
See, I could have gotten it had I been in touch with Terrell.
Yes, Terrell was there introducing everybody. But I'll tell you the brilliance of it, guys, without giving away much. The brilliant, and I had 3 people say this to me without even having to prompt them. It was so brilliant how that movie reflected what we're doing with Sammy Davis Jr. It was like that movie spoke for us without even having to say a fucking word to the mayor. That Heather and I looked at me and said, you know what, that mayor left that movie thinking all night when he went to bed, damn, you know, maybe I do need to stand up and say something instead of keeping the city divided by race and the good old boy network that Rickard's part of. It was brilliant. It was like, so he gets up there. Terrell calls everybody up in front of the screen to talk. He introduces the mayor, and the mayor gets up there, and we are 3 rows from the mayor.
No shit.
The thing is so full that Heather and I get seats right there near the front of the screen.
Wow.
He is literally yards from me, and I'm dead center. And he gets up there, and he will not look at me. And I'm going this, and Heather looks at me right when he walks up, and Heather goes, be nice. Behave. and I go, I'm fine. And he comes up, and she looks, and as soon as he comes up, I just do this. And I look back at the audience, and I hear a couple of chuckles, and I just go, and I just watch the guy. And he is going off on this fucking, why can't we all get along? This movie's about us coming together as a community and us having dialogue, and he is saying everything that you can tell in a way is directed towards the room, but directed towards the cause, exactly. And he will not look at me, and I'm sitting there, and everybody up there with him, Terrell, Tony Long, are looking at me like, is he about to do something? Are we going to have to call script? They are looking at me, and I am sitting there like this with Heather just staring at the mayor, and he will not look at me. And he's addressing me, and he's going, and at the very end of his address, his head comes up, and he looks at me. And he goes, and he's looking down kind of, and he goes, and he walks off. And he's almost like, my God, he didn't jump up and interrupt me. Like, hallelujah was this look on his face. So he goes on in this whole, like, how as a city we need to have dialogue and come together. And then it was so brilliant with the movie because then you have these white guys in the movie that are on Jackie's side. Amongst a sea of white guys that are racist, that believe in the good old boy network of baseball, and then you have these 3 or 4 like Pee Wee Reese, played by Lucas Black, who is on Jackie's side. And I look, and Heather said on her own, I'm thinking it, and Heather goes, you know, that was so like symbolic of the fight that's going on with the PD right now.
Absolutely.
And it's just brilliant. And I thought, you know what, I was thinking the same thing. And then Chris said that, or referenced that, and Leslie referenced that, who ended up joining us and sat next down there. Chris didn't sit with us, but Leslie and her boyfriend sat with us. So brilliant segment. The way it was just so damn perfect. If you didn't catch it, you're not paying attention. And I knew
Wow.
darn well Rickard had to have caught it and just knew nothing else to say. And it felt fucking powerful. Because, I mean, to have that movie have scenes where they say nigger over and over and over and over in this movie. This is, I didn't see Django Unchained, but I guarantee this movie has nigger in it as much as Django Unchained.
Oh, yeah.
But to hear that and to know that basically this is so representative, and it happened in Macon. Sammy thing happened in Macon. The movie was filmed in Macon. It all came together. It was almost just like the universe basically converged.
Came together.
It was fucking brilliant. The movie, I won't give away, the movie was good.
Wasn't great.
A lot of people, no, it was very good. It was the only movie that I can happily say I'm glad I was an extra on. Most times I do extra in big movies, I don't like the movie. The movie sucks. This is a movie I can say I'm glad to be a part of. But that being said, they did not use a lot of the Macon stuff.
They didn't use a what?
Some of the Macon stuff you would have thought they used hit the cutting room floor. I'll tell you that.
Really?
Yes.
They cut
Very
a lot of Macon
surprising.
out.
No, a lot's in it. A lot of Luther Williams Field's in it. Terminal Station's in it. 3rd Street's in it. 3rd Street and Cherry. A lot of that. The old gas station out there in Jones County that they filmed at is in it. A lot of stuff's in it. But what you majorly think's going to be in it that they put a lot of money and time into
They didn't.
was not in it. And you
Well,
know
they
what
may
scene
have
I'm talking
another
about.
version.
Well, extended version on DVD we were talking about.
I see.
But there is no 2nd Street Harlem shit. All of that money they paid people as extras, as carpenters, as facade
The
builders,
car drivers and stuff.
all that stuff on 2nd Street
Gone.
in the movie. Amazing. We sat there and went, you
That'll be
know,
up for the director's cut.
what is? It's
Hopefully.
amazing. It's amazing that
Keep your fingers crossed.
it's amazing that people are starving nowadays. Mental health issues. All this stuff. It all came together. And to think that Hollywood spends so much fucking money on stuff
I know.
and wastes it, and then they don't even use it. And I was so wanting to look at how Macon was going to look as Harlem and Brooklyn. They did all that green screening for the
For
Apollo
nothing.
Theater, and it was not used. Not used.
That is crazy.
Amazing.
Well, here's the thing. You have
Amazing.
to remember what they're trying to do is get the story
But
across
it's a good, it's a
within
well-made
the 3
movie.
hours or
It's
2 hours.
Yeah, but I
How
mean,
long is the movie?
It's a little over 2 hours. We got out of there about 9:15. It started about 7. But it's a good movie. Don't get me wrong. Like Harrison Ford's very good. It shows that he can actually act and not be the same old kind of like Indiana Jones Han Solo guy. You know,
Yeah.
he can act. He shows some chops in it. Chadwick
play a
Boseman,
character,
who we
yeah.
got our picture with Derek way back on the set.
Mhm.
He's good. It's well acted. It's a good, well-made movie. But it's just, it was what was the brilliance of it was how it just came together with the Sammy.
And how it's
And I'm not
spoke.
trying to make it about us, but I mean, if you didn't notice that, you were just brain dead.
Yeah.
Anybody in their right mind had to know. I mean, to have scenes where guys are up there, umpires are up there calling them names and going, nigger, get off the field, get off the field. It just sounded so much like reminiscent of the Macon PD, you know, let's pick on the black guy sitting outside of Kroger, blah, blah, you know, it's just that whole scenario all over again in 2012, 2013. But instead, and I'm not trying to say Sammy is this great Jackie Robinson. I'm not trying to compare
Right.
them in that way.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean. The theme of it, the mentality of it, what it represented of judging someone not by who they really are and by their talents, but just by what you see or by what
And
you
so the
assume.
mayor tried to whitewash that.
He didn't see the movie yet. He made the speech before the movie started.
Oh.
But he was all about, you know, we have to come together as a community, a dialogue, we have to get over this, blah, 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 blah. And then it was just brilliant because the movie spoke for itself. And whether he wanted to admit it or not, Mayor Rickard had to realize that his type, his ilk, what he comes from represented that old South that was racist, that did not want a black man in baseball. And basically, we represented that other side that was for a guy who was brought into a game, not mad, didn't matter how he looked, but because of his talent, because he could do the job, and because he was good at it. And that's all that should have mattered. And there was a line where the guy says that, Lucas Black, Pee Wee Reese, and a couple of guys stand up for Jackie, and they say, you know, with this Ranch Ricky, Harrison Ford's character, says it over and over, how I want a guy who can win me a World Series.
Right.
I don't care if he's black, purple, brown,
Well, not only
yellow.
that, I want a guy.
guy.
I want a guy. What was his famous line in that movie? I want a guy who has the guts not to fight back.
That's right. It's brilliant. And it's brilliant. And the thing about it is, it just came together. And I tell you what, I just left there thinking, man, that's a damn good exclamation point on what we've been doing. Besides just being, and again, it was still a good movie and a lot of makings in it, but some stuff you think would be in it was not in it.
Wow, and that's unfortunate.
It's really good
because they spent a few $1 million just on that avenue. Go ahead.
But going as I was about to say, I mean, the banner is really good. I really love it. I don't want to stop it, but it's time for a break. It's
gone
on
Ed
909.
Look at that.
Ed's got to be here to break us.
Oh, okay.
Ed,
all right.
Whenever you're ready, brother. But back.
We'll be right back.
Well, Ed's not here to go to break.
I guess we're still here.
We'll wait, guys. And we're not going to bore you. I'm not going to talk about this, but it was really good vibe.
And Ed, we're going to break.
And you know what? We saw Chris Payne afterwards, and Chris Payne came out, and then afterwards I ended up.
Well, that's great news. The only thing is that I'm a little bit upset that I wasn't able to be there.
I know, and
it's ridiculous.
They should have invited you. They should have, but Kuzno wasn't there either, so don't feel so bad.
Yeah, that's true.
Kuzno wasn't feeling well.
Yeah,
Kuzno wasn't there.
I got my tickets for tonight though.
Yeah.
But I just feel a little bit bad. I had to pay for mine when you got yours for free.
Yeah,
but either way, I'm still happy.
I think you're going to like the movie, Derek. And to tell you this, I saw a lot of people I know in it, in flashes. I think I saw Derek, but of course I know where to look for people because I was on the set. I made the cut as a blur on one spot coming out of the terminal station, which served as the Daytona airport. But I knew to look for me. I was a blur. But I kind of got away with putting a cigarette to my mouth. Remember how I told you I was trying to act like a smoker and they told me to stop doing that? I still made the cut in a blur of taking a cigarette out in the background and putting it to my mouth.
Don't forget, give us a call at 478-254-6287. The phone lines are open.
I suck goats.
Well, the phone line is
We're going
open.
to break. You call me for break.
We're going to break.
We're going to break.
And my daughter Elizabeth got in the movie. She made the cut. We were so proud of that more than anything.
That's great.
Thank you very much.
You got to see her?
Saw Michelle Nichols. Yes, she made the cut with one of the kids getting an autograph from Jackie.
Okay.
She made her face was covered, but you could see her hair, her body, her head. Her laying on top of the
That's very good.
That's great.
Thanks, Ed. We'll be back.
We'll be right back.
Brace yourself for the invasion and go buy some earplugs. Billions of cicadas are poised to rise up from the soil and blanket the East Coast in the next few weeks. Swarmageddon 2013 should hit mid-April to late May from Georgia to Connecticut, with Calvert and Anne Arundel counties the hot spots here in Maryland.
I wait every day for this moment to arrive.
University of Maryland entomologist Michael Rauch has been waiting for this particular brood 2, for 17 years. The bugs have been living underground the whole time, and they emerge at the very end of their lives.
It's no wonder when they get up out of the earth, they're going to sing, they're going to fly to the treetops with the big boy band, the guys are going to get eyeball to eyeball with the gals.
While cicadas are harmless to humans and trees, that mating call can be a real headache, as loud as a lawnmower or a jet engine. But it only lasts a month. They mate, lay eggs, and die. And in between...
Right now, everything on the planet wants to eat a cicada. Foxes, skunks, raccoons, birds...
And humans. None to boil, bake, and stir-fry the bugs. In 2004, that other brood even got covered in chocolate. But Professor Rauch is a purist, prefers them raw.
They have a delicate, nutty flavor, a buttery texture, and sometimes with a hint of the tannins from the oak trees they fed on for 17 years.
Better book your table soon. The next available for this bunch won't be till 2030.
We continue to follow breaking news out of Gwinnett County, where right now a gunman is holding 5 firefighters hostage.
And let's get right to News Edge anchor Tom Haynes at the live desk now with more information. Tom?
Russ and Deidre, these firefighters simply doing what they were supposed to do. They were responding to a medical call at this home on Walnut Drive in the area of Sewanee. When they arrived to that home, they were met by a gunman. Now, those 5 firefighters are being held hostage by a gunman at this house on this road. This is where 85 and 985 split just east of I-85. There is a major SWAT situation going on there as they try to get this gunman to release these 5 firefighters. What was his beef with the fire department? What is his problem in general? We just don't know. What we do know is that there's a very serious situation unfolding in Sewanee as these firefighters can't get out of this house now because this barricaded gunman is holding them hostage. We have crews on the way to this scene, and we're continually getting information here at the Fox 5 Live Desk. As soon as we get more, of course, we'll bring it to you. Reporting live, Tom Haynes, Fox 5 News.
Tom, thank you.
In the quiet country 15 miles east of Lebanon, people know how to take care of themselves. It's essential. Emergency medical care is a long ways off.
About 20 minutes, probably.
Which is why there was no room for error on Monday, April 1st, when Jeff Smith nearly went for the last ride of his life on his 1949 tractor.
I reached for the shifter, but my boots had a bunch of mud on it, and my foot slipped off the clutch, and it just walked that tractor straight over backwards on top of me.
He was pinned in the middle of his garden. His daughters were out walking their dogs, and with no one else around, he did the only thing he could. He screamed for help.
Which was scary because it was on my chest. Every time I called out for help, it was kind of like a constrictor. Every time I yelled out, I lost some of that. I could only get some of that back.
His daughters heard the cries and ran back to the house.
He was just laying in the dirt underneath the tractor, and he was just screaming, and he would not stop screaming.
They tried to dig him out, but they couldn't, so they grabbed onto the heavy iron machine weighing 3,000 pounds and lifted.
Do you remember what it was like? I mean, when you grabbed onto it, were you thinking anything?
This is really heavy, but I need to get it off of
Well, I was saying, God help me over and over, because I obviously could not lift it myself. It was heavy.
But not heavier than their desire to save their dad. They raised it just enough for him to slide out.
They're great girls, but I mean, that's a lot of weight just to think. I mean, honestly, I don't know if I'm a big guy, and I don't know if I could do that.
8 days after it happened, 16-year-old Hannah and 14-year-old Haley still struggle to explain how they did it. Maybe it's because they knew they had to rescue their father. They couldn't wait 20 minutes. And maybe it's because they didn't have time to wonder if it was possible.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
I can't believe we did it.
It's kind of like a dream when you think back. It just feels like a dream. It feels like it never happened.
Good afternoon. My name is Irving Martinez, and I am running for Bibb County Commission. Today, I'm here to talk to you a little bit about what's going on in politics in the city and how there is a bunch of people now decrying what I'm talking about and almost telling me to shut up, you know, that I should follow protocol, whatever that means. Well, let me just set it to you straight. I came into this campaign without fear or reservation about telling all about what I know and what I am experiencing here in Macon. One of the things that I'm experiencing is police abuse. I've been abused by the police. Everybody knows about it. The whole town knew about it, and did nothing, absolutely nothing to help me out. Instead, everybody stood around watching this injustice going on around me and to me personally. The police officer lied to the judge. The police officer was abusive. The police officer was completely reckless in arresting me and throwing me in jail for no reason. I didn't hear from my friend Burns. I didn't hear from my friend the mayor. I didn't hear from anybody. Yeah. If nothing else, they all shunned me and thought I was a freak. Watch how it gets. And in fact, I was a freak in this town. And they still think I'm crazy. But the fact of the matter is, I am the voice of truth, justice, and the American way. Not the Southern way, the American way. And this is not an American city when you have a mayor who's somewhat overseeing a police department that he has no control over.
Coffee guy says he's Superman.
And now they want me to play the protocol? I don't think so. It's not going to happen anytime soon. And so if you want to vote for somebody like me, who's going to tell them right where it's at, then vote for me. And if you don't, stick with the status quo, and we'll stay exactly where we've been for the last 30 years. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
tell it like it is, Brother Irvin. Tell it like it is, Brother Irvin. Tell it like it is, Brother Irvin. Are we back?
Yeah, baby.
More toys. Chatter. More toys for the table.
I love it.
Yeah, baby.
Look at that.
More toys the kids are getting rid of. There we go. We are back. Do the technicalities.
Yes. Thank you for that, by the way.
Yes, I love it, Irvin. Good video.
It's 9:18 a.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time.
I have another one.
In Macon, Georgia.
There's a bag for you.
Go ahead. Morning Roast live from the Nut House. in beautiful downtown
You know,
adjacent downtown Macon, Georgia.
I love doing this show.
I do
Let me
too.
tell you.
This is
Thursday.
solar powered. The little belly dancer here. It's solar powered.
It's Thursday.
There you go.
Thursday, April 11th, 2013.
That's Gamer Girl. Gamer
That's
Girl.
Gamer Girl.
Doing a Hulu dance for us. We got to get the sun on and hit that. There's Gamer Girl. We got our own Gamer Girl on set.
Hey.
Sorry, guys, but Gamer Girl's just cuter than y'all. We're not going to put y'all's doll up here, but we'll put Gamer Girl. and that's nothing against our other girls on here. Eve and Bean and Three Bears. We love you guys, gals, too. But
I
there you go.
can
That's
see
our
Three
Gamer
Bears
Girl
dancing
right
like
there.
that.
But yeah.
As said, it's 9:18 a.m. in Macon, Georgia. It's 62 degrees outside with a high of 83 and a low of 63. It's partly cloudy right now, but it's going to be some afternoon and evening showers for tonight. So definitely, if you're going to check out, anyone who's going to check out the sneak preview for 42 or any other movie
tonight also,
definitely bring your umbrellas.
Yes.
I might go again tonight.
What time is the sneak preview?
How are we gonna get tickets?
Hey, well, they cost $9.50. They haven't sold out. They're playing it tonight in three theaters. I might, if Heather's cool with me going again, because it's a good movie. I could see it again because now, you know, as I said, it's a good movie. I was very happy with the movie. You know,
well, I'm
even
very
though I was
happy
hoping to see Second Street stuff in it. It was still a good
I
movie.
will say this. In a way, it wasn't meant for me to be there because I believe that by faith, that God had a plan for me to talk to Al.
Right.
For me to talk to Al and find out that his father was killed by the Macon Police Department has done for me more than maybe even going to that movie and seeing all these a-holes anyway.
Right.
You know, and Al wasn't there. So.
No, Al wasn't there. I mean, there's probably a lot more there that I didn't even notice. But I saw Alan Peake, you know, I saw the mayor, I saw...
But it still upsets me that I wasn't there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. By the way, where the hell is Chris Payne?
I don't know. I guess maybe he didn't get my message this morning. I was trying to bring
Brian,
Chris up.
what's
Brian's
going
got
on
some
with
stuff.
you?
He's got to go around 10 o'clock to take his woman to work, but he wants to get back on the conversation, which it all goes in segues, because yesterday we were talking about the Civil War, we're talking about racism, we're talking about with 42, we're talking about people changing the game, breaking barriers, talking about the Sammy Davis. It all ties together. So basically, Brian was coming back. We're going to have more of the conversation somewhat about the Civil War stuff. And
Brian, have you seen the movie?
No, I was hoping to see it tonight.
You're going to go see it tonight?
Maybe this weekend or tonight. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Jackie K. Cooper was there last night.
Oh, he was.
I saw him.
Who?
Jackie, the local guy
movie
who writes and does movies.
Oh.
He was there.
Yeah. I
saw him talking to Jamie Gaudet.
I actually did a promo for him about like 19 years ago when he used to do a movie critique work at Fox 24.
Yeah.
And it was really good. I actually got some DVDs from him that, you know, when he I actually got like a free copy of the movie that Denzel Washington directed, his director's debut, Antoine Fisher.
Right.
So I have a copy of that.
Wow.
Earl.
Coffee guy, my brother says I like to give Irv credit where credit's due. God is involved.
Yeah,
my brothers are with you there, Irv.
Coffee guy says I like.
I don't know. It's really weird though. The way the universe just kind of meshed yesterday with that whole 42. You know, and it's like, you know, it's really good.
Earl says, gotta split cool. DB, be easy, brother. Catch everyone tomorrow. See you later.
Care,
bye, Earl.
Hope you have some time
Thanks
to check out the movie 42
Is
this
Earl
weekend.
still in Athens, like Coffee guy?
Yeah, he's still in Athens.
You guys are both in Athens?
Do you know that, I think I mentioned this already, but it's worth mentioning again. Alex Webb has been watching our show.
Yes.
And he really likes it.
Yeah, Alex is a good guy. I used to work for Alex and Philip. They were my bosses back in early 2000 at when they had their bar open Reaction.
I sent a link to
still open under another name.
to Ed about the movie critic. I wonder if he was able.
Well,
to
we don't want him to ruin any vital points to you that haven't seen it yet. That's why I'm not going into the storyline with you on here because I don't want to mess it up.
Well, maybe we'll play it Friday, I guess.
I just wanted to say that basically I did see a lot of people, friends in it, that made the cut. I saw Michelle Nichols. You see her in the background of one of the shots in the stadium. Todd Wilson, good friend. Go way back to theater days. Todd Wilson gets awesome 2 scenes with lines.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Todd Wilson.
He's in the trailer as well.
He makes it. He makes both cuts twice, 2 separate scenes. He gets in. Benjamin Graham, one of my wolves, and Nick Chopper, gets a moment where he gets acknowledged by Harrison Ford in the stands. Harrison says like a funny line and looks back to his right back, the seats behind him, and Benjamin's sitting there, our buddy Benji, and he looks at him and they both kind of smirk at each other. He gets like a moment. It made the cut. So it was cool. And like I said, there's some of those shots put in there where Derek is in the crowd with the black sitting out in the hot sun. And I think I saw it, but it was all some of that was going by so fast. That, and the close-ups on the guy Wendell that plays the writer, the black guy Wendell, his friend.
Yes.
You remember there? He was like 2 or 3 people away from you, standing out in the hot sun that day.
Yeah, right.
Well, they get a shot of him standing there with the girl who plays Jackie's wife, and they cut it like a guy before you.
Oh,
you barely miss it in that shot. You barely miss it, but they show like a longer shot. But it's a good movie. But we won't keep going. So, Brian, again, racism. Let's go with it. I mean, we started the show. You guys talked about the Wilcox County prom. I mean, what is it for you? I mean, what do you think the Civil War epitomized to you as a whole? Because you agree with me that it wasn't all about just keeping the slaves.
Right. I mean, I think it's pretty clear that it was about independence. And if you look at, if you did you ever seen the side-by-side comparisons where if you have like, if you compare the American Revolution to the South side of the Civil War, I really don't see how you can sit here and dispute that they're different. I mean, you were trying to secede from a larger government. You're trying to create a new nation.
And I brought that up yesterday.
You're not trying to overthrow. You're just trying to create a separate government. That's the same thing they were doing. The American Revolution, they were fighting to create a country in which slavery would be legal. So I don't see why you would, it's like, 17 July 4th, oh, that's so great. But yet,
But the other, well, because it's kind of, and that's why the opposite side with Derek and Irvin is that their mentality, and correct me if I'm wrong, is sort of, well, they lost, they have no right, they could not successfully succeed because they were kept from doing it, so therefore they have to give it up and give up the idea of it, and give up the ideas that they were fighting behind.
Just because you lost, I mean, you have to forget about what.
And if you were not on the show yesterday, like Coffee Guy, this came up because Derek brought up a story about LL Cool J and Brad Paisley doing this song called "The Accidental Racist," and where he basically goes into Southern pride. And then LL Cool J comes in with a section where he does the same thing, but from the outlook of a black guy. He's like, if you don't want me to judge you by your shirt, your flag, don't judge me by my do-rag, and whatever the other line was.
Chains and stuff.
Right. So it was kind of, that's how we got to the conversation. And Bryant was on the show yesterday chatting with us about this. Bryant and Irvin were going at it peacefully, but in heated debate. And Bryant had written a quote by Jefferson Davis that Irvin had a problem with. Right, Irvin?
Yeah.
You just thought that the content of that quote...
I mean, I'm glad that, first of all, let me give credit where credit is due.
Right.
The fact of the matter is that he came up with that quote verbatim. So it's not about his intellect or not about how much he knows, because he knows a lot about Southern history.
Right.
But
you just say my
obviously, I'm not a Southern boy. I'm a New Yorker, a Northerner. And so I'm going to disagree with most of anything that comes out of Jefferson Davis's mouth. And by the way, let me just say this on behalf of Jefferson Davis. He wasn't such a bad guy. He wasn't. As a matter of fact, even the general that was fighting the war,
Robert E. Lee.
Robert E. Lee.
Great military man.
Even Robert E. Lee
even
didn't
the North
want
said
this.
he was a great soldier.
Yeah, he was a great soldier.
Because he fought in the
Not
earlier wars.
Very caring soldier.
Yes.
He cared for his men.
The South had better soldiers. That was a fact.
Well, and even Lincoln said that.
They did.
Even Lincoln said
Jackson,
that. Yeah,
Lee,
these
Beauregard,
guys.
they had good.
They had good.
Yes,
they were great
They're actually
generals.
better shooters, marksmen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, they were very well versed, and they went to military colleges.
Yeah.
Lee, as a young captain, right, fought in the Mexican War.
I know it's Davis. I don't know.
Yeah, so give credit where credit's due.
They were right.
These guys were brilliant.
Yes,
And
very much so.
They were.
And Sherman was kind of a fuck up.
I mean, just think about it.
Lincoln
He got
couldn't
all
stand
these.
Sherman. You know, Lincoln and Sherman hated each other.
I know.
Sherman was
I
a
know.
North general.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But you know,
it broke his heart when
for
Sherman
the South, to muster up a bunch of hobo guys that knew nothing about war, to be able to get them to be so effective.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, that was one of the things they always said is they never thought the war was going to go that long.
I know.
To a lot of people, 4 or 5 years isn't a long war compared to some wars. But the North was under this assumption that, we're going to just slaughter these guys within a year, and it's over.
No.
And those guys took it to the hilt. That's right.
You were talking about New York. When New York ratified the Constitution back in the late 1700s, like one of the clauses, they were only one of a few states to do this. They put a clause in that says, if we ever want to secede from the Union, we reserve the right to do that. The only states that did that, as far as I can recall, were New York, Virginia, and Texas. Of course, Virginia actually
Texas with
used
Mexico with the
Now,
New York. I mean, you were saying you're from New York, but I mean, New York
is
claimed that same right. I mean, how can you sit there and say, New York? But it's like in the 1700s, they're saying, well, we recognize the importance of secession, but then you come back a few decades later, and like, we don't recognize it anymore. We're going to invade, down here, not let this.
Well, New York is not innocent of the matter, but remember, New York had more diversity than the South, and so.
But they had a whole lot of racial riots too.
They did.
Just within
No
the
doubt
whites.
about it.
Yes.
No doubt about it. You guys saw the movie.
Gangs New York.
Yeah.
Which
one?
Gangs New York.
New York had a lot of racial
Cameron
riots,
Diaz.
but the whole country did.
Yeah.
Well, in New York City, during the Civil War,
also
New York
saw
City
King
had a
with
race
Christopher
riot.
Walken.
That was provoked by Lincoln.
You ever see that?
He was trying to force people to go fight that didn't want to fight, and they rioted as a result. I don't know if there was a New York City draft riot. Basically, it turned into like an anti-black riot.
Right.
Well, yeah. I mean, because that's the part where I was going off with. Yeah, I didn't say that just because the North was free. Was a free or anti-slave didn't mean that it was a utopia for black people. Because you said like they said it was about the riots. And think if you were an immigrant who just came from the country, whether you're Italian, Irish or German, Spanish, or whatever, and you're already like trying to make it, with $10 a day, 10 cents a day, back in the 1860s. And you fight, and you're drafted to fight a war, but because you're not even a native citizen, you got to fight to retain the union that you just got here. And then, if in case you win, there's a chance you may lose your job, you lose your lifestyle, because there's going to be some ex-slaves that's going to be coming up to North, and you're going to have to compete against a guy you already busting your hump. Working 16 hours a day with 10 cents a day with a guy who's been working basically most of his bitter life for free.
Right.
I mean, how you gonna compete with that?
Yeah, that's why they rioted. I mean, especially like the Irish, they got really brutalized by Lincoln.
Yeah, and the Irish were in New York. They were looked at as the low guy on the totem pole.
Right.
And they became police to try to cut through all of that racism that was there. But let me tell you, growing up in Brooklyn, you had the Irish, you had the Italians, you had the Jews, you had the Puerto Ricans, you had the blacks. So you're talking 5 races in Brooklyn alone.
Right.
Now you have Indian, now you have Jamaican, you have Pakistani, you got everything.
Saudis,
and so,
Middle
can you say that about Macon, Georgia? Hell no.
No, but slowly it is getting.
Well, it's getting there, but I haven't seen that many Pakistanis around here
because of the college
owners.
mainly. Mercer's bringing in a lot of those different nationalities. Yes. And of course, just in general, every state is being bombarded with your Hispanics
I know that.
and your Mexicans.
But what I'm saying is, this is what I grew up with. So to me, the whole racial thing was, it was part of the equation, but no one really festered about it. Nobody really brought it up because they were used to having a Pakistani friend and an Irish friend and a Jewish friend and an Italian friend. I myself grew up in a very Italian neighborhood in Park Slope. We were the only Puerto Ricans on the block, and there were 9 of us, so obviously we were a spectacle, right?
Right.
And then that neighborhood turned from that. Within 5 years, I used to tell my mother, Mom, look, a lot of people are moving in. Look at the moving trucks. She says, no, sweetheart, they're moving out. They're moving out.
What's the Billy Joel song? Anthony's song?
Yeah.
I'm moving out.
Yeah.
Dude, and within 5 years, the whole neighborhood turned Jamaican and Caribbean. Where all you hear is music blaring out of the windows and guys in big cars and big do-rags, and it was unbelievable. And all the Jews moved out.
And C. Fluke says there aren't races, there are ethnic groups. Because technically, Hispanic is not really a race. It's just basically a group of people united by a language.
Let's go to the chat. Sabuki saying some funny but pertinent stuff, as is Coffee Guy. And let's get to those. Read those real quick. Yirak.
This is
Sabuki said, well, Sabuki throws the humor.
Was black and eats bananas, half of London. I got to talk. Well, actually, the black population is not as big in the UK as compared to the United States. What I've heard, supposedly.
Winchester says, "Watch Gone with the Wind. It'll tell you what you need to know." Just kidding. C. Fluke says, "Slaveholders did not have to serve in the Southern Army." That's not true. That's not true.
Slave owners what?
They could,
we got C. Fluke. We got Bryant's questioning that.
Oftentimes they were wealthy, and therefore, in the beginning, they could actually pay other people to take their spot. If they got drafted, they could pay other people to take their spot. But
Good Old Boy Network.
A few years
later, pay
It's
somebody to take your spot.
A few years later, they actually cut that out anyway. So even like you could do it for the first part of the war, but near the end of the war, they cut out that exemption, so you had to fight basically.
Yeah, I mean,
Sabuki, go ahead, Derek.
That's what I was talking about. It goes back to money, which goes back to slavery. That was their money making thing. Yeah, they were slaves in the North, but because they had a much bigger population, a much immigrant,
and they were industrialized.
And more industrialized in the
North
South.
had way better technology.
They weren't
than the South.
Yeah,
as far as machinery and everything, and the ability to make stuff.
That was how they were able to defeat the South, even though they weren't accurate shots as the Southern soldiers were. They had technology to back them up. Yeah. And they did have slaves.
Come back to us, Three Bears.
But at the same time, they weren't dependent economically speaking on slave labor.
That's correct.
As the South was.
Right. Well, we know that. Yeah. But I just wanted to say that I just did not think it was all about the slavery issue. And I mean, you guys kind of agree with that. It was a major part of it.
It was a major part of it.
That was a big chunk of it.
But it's what
chunk.
Brian says too. They just wanted to also become their own place, their own.
Maybe to the southern point of view.
You know what I mean?
I mean about
it's
independence.
It's like you said it. But the colonists wanted to become their own country. They didn't want the British anymore.
But the
they didn't like what they were trying to tell them to do.
As far as American history at large, it was basically a crossroads where they was going to remain a slave-powered agrarian society or immigrant-powered industrialized society.
In the context of slavery, if you're gonna look at the slavery argument, I think the problem would be more so that the Constitution had specific provisions as far as how to track down runaway slaves, and the North just basically said after a few decades, they're like, we're just not gonna follow that.
Here's the thing: that Constitution was written by a bunch of white guys.
All right, so the southern states are basically saying, all right, if you're not gonna follow the Constitution, then we don't have to follow it. Like, if you have a contract, if one person doesn't live up to his side. I mean, I understand that. That's great. I'm glad that they were, sort of taking that step to push for abolition. But I mean, if you were on the other side of the argument, you'd be kind of pissed if somebody tells you they're going to do something and then they don't do it, but they still expect you to do your part. Like,
well, yeah.
Let me just
I can say that from a legal point because when I was working at Fox 24, I had a guy. Mike Wilson. I don't know if he was. He's Mike Wilson. He's a guy who was one of my co-workers, and we used to go back and forth about this issue like many times, more than I can count. And we used to talk about, and then we just basically went borderline. We just basically said, okay, we just basically, I guess more of a, not exactly a stalemate, but seemed to agree. Like, do you believe after what I've said of all the things we talked about between North and South in the Civil War, do you think that the Confederacy had a legal right, which I'm glad you said, that they didn't, some people in the northern part of the United States didn't hold up to their bargain to the Constitution.
Politicians in general don't hold up to their bargain. Let's face it, they don't, right?
That's true.
Politics in general.
I'm just saying, well, Mike, he would ask me, do you think that the South, after all the stuff we've been discussing or debating about, had a legal reason to secede from the Union?
And what's the answer to that?
And I said, legally speaking, yes. Morally speaking, no.
Right.
Not even close.
And by the way, if we're going to go by the Constitution, this is like, and I'm going to use this as an example because I think it is the perfect example. Mm-hmm. This is like dealing with the Old Testament and the New Testament.
Here we go.
Nobody goes with the Old Testament anymore. Although you learn from it and you learn good stuff from it, it doesn't mean that we walk around stoning each other to death. That Constitution was written by white male men
Of course
who
it
owned
was.
slaves.
But yeah,
and so it wasn't a perfect document.
But you got to remember, they own land too, and
Right.
you can't own slaves without owning some land. It's
Right.
like you got
Right. They
it's
got-
like you
they
got a
gotta have
driver's
somewhere to work
license,
'em.
but
Yeah,
don't mean nothing if you don't have a car.
But if we're going to go by the so-called
right.
Constitution verbatim, then we're going to go back to the 1700s.
I agree. It was a different
when it was
climate.
first,
it was a different
you know,
climate. I agree.
And
but,
so
but
the
there were a lot of
Constitution is a
founding
great
fathers.
document, but it's not perfect.
No, but there were a lot of founding fathers that were very, very respectful. And I know Derek's going to probably jump on me about this.
Well,
but
tell
it's
me
true.
about him, because I didn't hear about
They
him.
were very respectful
Towards what?
Of their slaves.
Of course they
call
were.
That, and you can call
A lot
that a
of these
double-edged
guys
sword.
loved their slaves.
But
They were like
that's what
family.
I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but that-
yeah,
but you
literally
do
they
that-
were family. If you're talking
I
about
hate
Thomas
to
Jefferson's
finish up,
family,
but
right.
you do
You're
that
talking
with a
about
dog.
Thomas Jefferson, yeah.
That's no big deal.
But what do we?
The dog
but what do we
becomes like a
consider our
family
dog?
member.
We
It doesn't
consider
mean shit.
everybody considers their dog their best friend and likes their dog better than their fellow man.
Well, and that's
Correct?
what they did back
Correct.
then too.
I mean, let's be. I honestly like dogs better than humans too. I do.
It's
I mean,
like
I
the
do.
token black guy. Of course they're gonna love him. They're gonna love him because he's working his ass off for them.
Coffee
There's
guy's
no real love.
Coffee guy's good. He goes something about a mother. Where's the thing Coffee guy says about a mother who? There's nothing like a German mother who speaks perfect
Yeah,
English.
no one speaks better English than a mother from
Amen,
Germany.
brother. He's talking about our mom from Berlin. She speaks better English than me. Okay, she knows the grammar. She knows the correct way to speak, and she knows multiple languages.
That's your mom.
Yes.
I love your mother's accent.
Well, she
By
knows
the way,
French fluently and English, and she speaks it correctly.
Yeah.
Not the bastardized version that all of us do.
Wow.
that
You
are
call
born
me a
here.
bastard?
Yeah. Well, all of
I
us.
got a mother and father that were married.
No, we don't mean
Now, my
that.
mother was a
Bastard
bastard
language.
child, by the way. Look
See,
at the
Luke says
dual
dogs don't
churches
talk
in
back.
Macon.
That's
He says, look at the
Dogs
church.
don't talk back.
Yeah, look at
but
the
they also
chur-
don't pay taxes either.
That's
but
right.
That's a whole other.
Look at the churches in Macon.
And they love you unconditionally.
Two First
Yeah.
Baptist churches that used to be one, two Methodist churches, two Presbyterian churches. Well, there is an old saying that says the most segregated time of the week is Sunday mornings in a
11
church.
o'clock.
Right. Yep.
That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
The churches are all hypocrites
Dr. King
anyway.
talked about
I'm glad
Dr.
you said
King
that,
talked
Irvin,
about
not
it.
me. If I said it, I'd have just been continue to be called an
Dr.
atheist
King did talk
and a
about it.
Satanist
Yeah.
or whatever.
Got
But I'm
killed
glad
for it.
you said it, Irvin. I'm glad the religious
Among
guy on
other
the
things,
panel,
too.
one of the religious guys on the
Well,
panel
you
said
see that I'm not a member of a church right now because
if I said it, I would just be looked at as another asshole atheist.
Not only
remark.
that, but you
Right.
don't go to church, nor
That's
do you
my
care
point. I'm
anything
glad
for
that
it.
you said it, or Derek would have said it if he said it, because you guys are the church. Well, Brian
Yeah.
might be a church.
Yeah.
Well, Coffee Guy.
Ed and I, we don't go to
Coffee Guy says states' rights has always been an issue. Which, see, that was the reason why a lot of black people voted Republican back during the turn of the century because of Lincoln was the first Republican president, was the
Right.
first president elected under the Republican Party, and also good number of the Democrats at that time were pro Jim Crow.
Yes.
And
well, the Dixiecrats.
The Dixiecrats.
Remember the Dixiecrats.
And
That's
that's
right.
which is why John F. Kennedy wanted to go to Texas just to keep them from splitting up because he wanted to be reelected in '64.
What happened to him?
Pacal. Yeah, that's what happened.
Wow.
And then after it is basically kind of like it flip flop after 1964, blacks became Democrat after that because they used the Southern strategy to get in Nixon to elect
That's
Nixon.
correct.
And it
was the Republicans that were the real.
We've been Democrats. African Americans have been voting Democrat ever since
I
1968.
wish I was in Dixie. Hooray! Hooray!
He gay. He gay. He gay. Anyway,
by the way, Brian,
you're right. I'm gonna get to it. You're right. I know you asked Gamer Girl, but I've been to Bodies. Heather and I went to Bodies back in 2005 in Atlanta. That's a great exhibit where they use the Chinese dead people and put their bodies up and show the inside workings of them. And it's an exhibit in Atlanta. I've been there.
Wow.
Awesome exhibit. You're
Does
right.
Does it really? Does
It's
it?
awesome.
They're using dead
And there was a
bodies.
lot
Does
of-
it stink, or
No,
do they have a whole lot
there
of?
was a lot of
embalming
protest
fluid?
about the whole human rights issue of
Could
it.
you let this guy have a
Sorry.
word in,
Go
please?
ahead. Yeah, Brian's got to leave at 10. We'll go back into Bodies after Brian.
He's
leaves
got to
the
go.
show. Bryant, but Bodies is an awesome exhibit. We'll get into that. Remind me.
Okay.
Right.
By the way, just before you answer,
yes.
Was Jim Crow's full name James Crow?
I don't know.
I thought you would know that. Okay.
Is Jim Crow really James Barr who created the Crow?
Well, that's your brother asking that question.
Hey.
Go ahead.
No, I believe it was Winchester says 40 acres and
I
a
guess
mule.
I blew your opportunity there.
40 acres
Brian.
and a mule.
Mm-hmm.
Your thoughts on 40 acres and a mule? You just had to
I
chat about
don't
that.
know. I mean, I understand the concept, but I don't understand like how. I don't know the details as far as how that was funded.
Well, basically, when they let him go, they gave him 40 acres and a mule.
Yeah, I know that. But
That
I'm
was
saying,
their reparation, so to speak, right?
What I'm asking is how was it funded? Who physically did it? I don't know those details, so I reserve comment until I know more.
Are you talking about the Southern blacks who give him 40 acres?
Well, not all of them got 40
Not
acres.
all of them, but that was the so-called, that's what Spike Lee's production company's called.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's based on that. And I'm not very well versed in it either. Derek might know better about it than we do, the white guys on the panel. But basically, 40 acres a mule was what they were given after they were released.
That was supposed to be their reparation.
He said 49 acres was the promise. It never happened.
Well, to a lot of people, it didn't happen. You're right about that. Whoever brought that up, question.
So even the government reneged on that.
Yeah, it's not going to be all about slavery and the Civil War today, but really, guys, we're just going with the flow. Bryant wanted to come on. He had said yesterday on the chat that he wanted to come and sit down with us in person. Today
There you
was a
go,
good
another
opportunity.
factoid.
And,
Andrew Jackson revoked it.
Andrew Johnson.
Andrew Johnson.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
That was the president who succeeded Lincoln. Actually.
Yes.
No shit.
Yes. There you
and
go.
who was also impeached, but he wasn't drummed out of office.
Well, what do you expect from a guy named Johnson?
Well, because he's going to dick you over.
That's right.
What?
That's right. What do you expect from a guy named
Johnson?
Right.
By the way, no. Let me just say this: isn't that weird that Johnson was the opposite of the Johnson who came after
Lyndon B.
After Kennedy?
Oh, everybody hated him. I've never ran into one person that thought Lyndon B. Johnson was a good president. Did you like Johnson, LBJ?
No,
nobody liked LBJ. I don't think I've met one person that liked LBJ.
Yeah, well, he was unlikable. That's
but
why.
Of course, it was a hard act to follow, right? Because everybody
Kennedy,
loved
Kennedy.
the Catholic boy. No, everybody loved the Catholic boy, Kennedy. It was a hard act to follow for anybody.
For anybody.
Even though Kennedy was a rapscallion and a rogue who was on every woman's...
But he was very charming. Yeah.
That's right. But that's right. It was a hard act to follow.
Yeah, it was really hard act to follow. It's kind of like the Jacksons on tour now. After that Michael's dead, they're trying to have a tour.
Or it's kind of like...
how you gonna do that?
It's kind of like the Jacksons going on stage, and then you're Menudo and have to go after him. It's
well,
kind of like
Johnson,
bad... It's like you hate to be Menudo. You know
LBJ got the Civil Rights Act passed because of the death of Kennedy. He would have never gone there had it not been that Kennedy died and he needed to win.
Well, that's a whole other conspiracy theory. They saw people say LBJ killed Kennedy. There's conspiracy theories.
Because he happened to die at LBJ's home state.
He had a smile.
Yeah. They said LBJ was behind it. Yirak, what do you think of that? Do you believe in the LBJ conspiracy theory killing Kennedy? Gamer girl, you like a British black man? We've got a perfect guest for you. Let's get Michael Felton on this show. Michael Felton, tall, 6'8", skinny, black, androgynous model, lives in Macon, British accent. We're going to bring him on the show.
Oh, great. Did you talk to him yesterday?
He was out last night. We went out after the movie. Carol, my sister-in-law, watched the kids for us.
Was he at the movie too?
No, we met at Roasted afterwards. We all went to karaoke. Yeah, he was there before y'all showed up. Yeah, Heather and I were out late last night because Heather's sister watched the kids for us. I only got 2.5 hours sleep, guys. That's why I'm stumbling. Saibuki, that's why I'm stumbling. My batteries aren't running out. I'm just wired on coffee and late night partying.
Can I mention one thing before I leave?
Non-alcohol.
Running a long time. I wanted to. I saw this on Dan Zook's page yesterday.
Yes.
Dan Zook.
Have you heard this, guys? Listen. I learned this at Roasted. Listen to this shit. This is unbelievable. Go.
All right. So Dan Zook has that.
Race day. This Sunday, Soapbox Derby race.
Anyway,
Washington Park.
His company does
yearly
like
event.
Yeah, oh yeah, sorry. They have like a soapbox derby
every year in April.
They've had it for like 5 or 6 years now.
Yes.
Anyway,
big cars, big man-made cars, not little.
Let him finish.
I know, but I got to explain to people. It's not the little Boy Scout cars.
It doesn't matter. Let him finish.
It does matter. It does matter. It's real drivers. Go.
All right, so anyway,
you got to preface that they don't know it from out of town.
They have some corporate sponsors. They have like a band that comes out. They're going to have a truck, I think, with food and drinks and so on.
Yes.
So anyway, they usually take up donations from some of the local businesses.
Yes.
Take up donations to help fund this kind of thing.
Yeah.
And some of the donations, I think, they also give out prizes to whoever wins the race and so on. But anyway, Dan Zook's company is one of the companies that contributes a little bit of donation.
He's actually running it. He's in charge of running the soapbox derby.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
But anyway, his complaint was that Caesar, who owns
local business guy,
he owns 5 or 6 businesses.
Cesare is the correct pronunciation. Cesare Marmarella. Get
please,
this, man.
I beg you.
This is
let
something
him
for
finish.
you to go off on a rant. You're going to rant.
Let him
this.
finish.
So anyway, Dan Zook was complaining that Caesar basically wins every year because, well, I'll get into why he wins in just a second. Let's skip that for now. But anyway, Caesar basically wins every year, and he therefore gets the prize money and so on, or rewards or whatever it is. But he doesn't turn around and then contribute donations back to the race. Dan Zook has requested numerous times that Caesar contribute something to it.
Is this why you want to protest him?
Yes.
But
it's kind of like the Jeff Gordon.
Well, listen to this. Listen how this gets, man. Listen how this gets.
But Caesar basically refuses to contribute.
And guess what Caesar does every year?
Or he has an after party. He has an after party at Barefoot, which is one of his restaurants called Barefoot. He has an after party. But this year he's having an after party at 4 p.m., which is supposed to be like when the race is occurring. I'm just kind of guessing here, but it sounds like he wants to basically run his car and then have the after party immediately after before the actual race is even done.
Yes.
So in other words, he's gloating.
He wants to gloat over his car being in it, which he pays people to make that car. Does not make it himself.
Supposedly, I don't have any.
We've heard that he pays people to make it outside.
Well, so does Hummingbird.
Well, maybe so.
I don't think Hummingbird is into making cars, and they make these cars that look like they came out of Speedway.
I mean, a lot of the other cars are like paper mache.
Yes, it's actually made by people that have actually work at the business.
Putting it together, the garbage can.
Like if we made a car for the morning roast, we would actually make it. We wouldn't get.
Well, you know what my car would be?
What?
It would be a big coffee cup.
Yes.
All right, Brian, finish up.
But anyway, like if you look at the picture of Caesar, Barefoot's car last year, it was like really fancy. It had like the really fancy chrome.
So you got to see it?
Well, last year's car. But the point is the guy has no respect for the actual event that he's not donating. He just wants his car to run. Go ahead and get the accolades, thinking he's going to win, and then ignore the rest of the racers.
All right, so then
Isn't that pretty funny?
Your protest is against what? That whole idea that he's doesn't really give a shit about.
It's kind of cronyism, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's cronyism. I mean, it's
the bottom line is it seems like he's trying to take advantage of something that's supposed to be like a fun event.
Yes,
it seems like he's trying to take advantage.
Try to pull
of it
people away
and just use it for his own advantage.
Yes,
and again, if second Sunday is supposed to be sort of the official, unofficial after party. And then again, the second Sunday is supposed to start at 6 p.m.
Right, with a band. With a band.
Immediately after
the race.
But again, he's holding a unofficial after
party
at 4 p.m. In other words, trying to draw everybody out.
Yeah.
Basically shitting on the second Sunday event and presumably the rest of the race. If
that's why Irvin calls this place the shitty. Because
by the way, how are you getting there?
When? Second Sunday? We're going to take the whole family. Heather and the kids are all going. You need a ride? You may come get you? We'll come get you.
Oh, I love you.
Sunday. It starts at noon. It starts at noon, the race. It's an all-day thing. The band starts at 6. The race starts at 9.
I usually volunteer.
Yeah, we're going. We'll be there with the kids and everything.
Perfect.
We're going to have our blankets.
Perfect. And the mayor's going to be there. Oh, it's going to be great.
We'll see. But yeah, when Bryant told me it roasted last night about all this, I had no idea he was doing this protest. I don't get on Facebook and notice.
Well, I agree with you, though, Brian. If you're the only one, that's what happened with me.
You look like
an asshole, like I did when I was protesting
Dempsey.
But
you're respected more because if you have the nuts, when I went out there and did it alone a few times for Sammy, I did have a few people come to me and go, you know what, I respect that you have the balls to come out here alone and hold a sign in front of frickin' City Hall Because you're right. Some people look at you and think you're a wacko.
Yeah.
But there are the ones that respect that you've got the cojones to do it.
Well, exactly.
I didn't say I'm doing it. I'm just saying the thought
Right.
crossed my mind.
Well, you have a good point. You have a good
issue,
point.
is what I'm saying.
It goes back. The city is very cliquish. We've said it from the beginning. It's very what you can do for me.
Very, very cliquish.
9:53.
Anyway, like I said, Dan Zook had a good post about that. I just wanted to share it.
So Zook's getting in on calling out some people.
If in this city, if you're part of the clique, you stick. But if not, you can suck their whatever.
Well, you know what? The people with MAGA, speaking of cliques, were very respectful and very, very kind to Heather and I. They were very, very cordial. MAGA people yesterday. They were very nice to us, and we appreciate it because, you know, I've had my problems with MAGA, and I've been very outward about it and loudmouth about it. But it was very good. But, you know, and I was respectful. I held my tongue when the mayor spoke. But he was aware of my presence.
Yes,
aura,
of your presence.
and my aura. That he knew what was emanating from my body was not hearts.
Yeah, he could tell your body language was like, right.
I was like, oh, well, this guy's here. Here we go.
Another thing I want to mention before I leave, and going back sort of, I guess, to LBJ in some sense.
Do it.
Was the Rick Hutto column in the most recent issue of the 11th Hour.
Did you hear about this, guys? Listen to this.
And so, anyway, most recent issue of the 11th Hour, which is like a local magazine.
Oh, we've talked about it on here. I've lambasted it.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Anyway, Rick Hutto had a column basically complaining about how the whole consolidation process has been taking place.
Okay, what do you think of that?
Well, listen what Rick wrote.
Anyway,
listen to this, Derek.
Rick sounds like he's basically whining, but to get into the content of what actually he said, he had several points. One of which is he was complaining that some people were trying to move the election from November to July. He's saying that you shouldn't be doing that because that'll make it less likely for minority voters to actually show up and vote, which I thought was pretty silly. And then he went on to complain about the nature in which the elections are being made nonpartisan. He complained about that, saying, oh, it was never put to a vote and so on. And he was also complaining about gerrymandering, which I don't really have any particular objections to those. I was just more so concerned about the November to July.
The whole moving.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, I guess back to the Voting Rights Act, of course. So that's kind of like in the 60s is what I was...
What do you think about that personally?
I think it's pretty silly. If you're too lazy to vote, then you're just too lazy.
Gerrymandering?
Oh, I don't talk about gerrymandering.
There we go. Phone call. I think it might be Coffee Guy. It's not Don Curry. Or Derek Shapiro.
No.
Coffee Guy.
Hello?
Hello?
Oops.
They'll call back. Call back.
Call back.
It's early in the morning. Irvin did not answer the phone yet. Anyway, thanks for coming in, Brian. You don't have to leave yet, but interesting. Read that article, you know, because that is kind of... I mean, what do you think of that, Derek? About Hutto saying the whole moving thing, moving the voting, because mainly catering
he mentioned that Augusta, Richmond County, which is, by the way, where the Masters is going on right now. But anyway, he was saying that they had tried to move their election from November to July, but I think a federal court struck it down, saying that that would have a retro transgressive, I can't remember the exact term they used, but basically it would keep minorities from voting, which is pretty silly to be if you want to.
Well, I just want to give you a heads up on this.
What?
Because I spoke to Al about it yesterday. There may not be an election in July because, you know, everybody's fighting this consolidation. And the only election may occur in November.
Right.
And in other words, they're not even sure whether consolidation is going to be legal. So they're putting it off. And this is, you know, coming right out of the horse's mouth. He said, right now, everybody's in negotiation because Al was part of the wanting the consolidation. I was too. First I was against it, then I was for it. And the reason why I was for it had nothing to do with whether it's a better deal. It's just, to me, the better deal was get half of these hobos out of there.
Right.
You don't need 15 people to run the city. The frickin' mayor can't even run it. You can imagine. You know, so to me, the whole idea was just get half of these people out. Now, did I know that they were all going to turn around and run? Yes, I did. But at least half of them will be gone. And so far, the only half that are going to be gone will probably be... Sussinger has got a big following. He's a very powerful guy.
So does Fickling.
Yeah. and
I like
Fickling does too.
I like Fickling. Hell, he bailed me
Well,
out.
I don't know if you heard
I'm
me
not gonna vote
mentioning
because I
it.
don't vote, but I like Fickling.
Well, I don't know if you know me
He
mentioning
stood
it.
up for Sammy from the get-go.
Yeah,
Only
and
the few
I don't
did.
know if you heard that I mentioned in my first video. I said that he's the only one who stood up, Fickling, and he's the only one that I would throw my support behind.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And I said that right. If I decide to get out of this race, the only person that's going to get my vote is Henry Fickling.
Fickling's running for commissioner.
District 2.
Yeah.
Right here. Same.
Right here.
He's running against Irvin. Along with Schlesinger and this young kid, Carlisle. Brandon
Well, and
Carlisle.
the reason why I
And
don't
then
vote
somebody
for
else jumped in,
Schlesinger.
Bronson jumped in.
I like Schlesinger. I do. Actually, we're the ones that hug and every time at City Hall, you've seen us.
Yes.
But Schlesinger is kind of spineless. He doesn't really say anything. You know, he doesn't want to ruffle anybody's feathers. I don't want that.
He's playing.
I want a
he's
guy who's
politician.
playing the fence.
He's a politician.
What I want is
He
a
is.
guy like Fickling who always stood up for what was right. He may not be perfect, but at least the freaking guy showed up to Junebug, and he is really a big supporter of what we're trying to do. And guess what?
What, brother?
You know
Brother.
whose support we got? Elaine Lucas's.
On the you mean the Sammy thing? Yeah.
Yeah.
She
Well,
never.
that's not surprising. Yeah.
Not really.
Comic
I
guy
mean-
says Irv is a feather ruffler, a real dirty bird.
That's exactly what
Oh,
this is.
yeah.
Brother.
You're not kidding.
Look, I'll eat the black jelly bean. I
Yeah,
like them.
did,
I like
when
them.
you spoke to Al yesterday, did he say anything? I really like
I'm
Al.
more of
I
a
think
Jelly
he's a pretty
Belly
good guy. Did he
jelly
say
bean
anything
guy.
about
Yeah, those are
running
cheap.
for office or anything?
Fucking
He's not running for anything right now.
Pardon me?
You can have
Is
some.
Al Tillman ever
Cheapest.
considering running for office?
Yes, as a matter of fact, he announced
Al
recently, yeah,
Oh,
he announced recently that he's not going to run for mayor.
Right.
But after our talk yesterday,
Uh-oh.
he said, if the election goes to November, I will then throw my hat in the ring because a lot of people were on me about not running.
Yeah.
And if
Al
Al
Tillman
Tillman ran,
yeah, that'd be great. Man.
if
I like
Al
that.
Tillman ran, he'd get a lot of votes.
Yeah.
Whoa. Al Tillman can't run.
Why can't Al Tillman?
Why not? Ed?
Why?
You know something we don't?
Be pretty funny watching.
Oh, come on, Ed.
Ed, he would do some new ordinance about buffets for everybody. Because every time I talk down
Oh,
the phone,
stop
I
it.
love Al, but he always asks me about food.
Oh, you know you
When,
missed.
when he was talking about coming to one of our shows, he goes, "Is food going to be there?"
You know you
I'm like,
missed
"Damn, Al, is that all you're worried about?"
You missed one of our stories earlier,
What?
man. My friend's little brother, my buddy that came to visit me a couple weeks ago.
A story from Connecticut.
No,
She
no,
flops it.
Florida.
Okay.
Stop, Earth. Hold on, we're talking here.
Well, I want to read the chatters. Everybody's
That's
chatting
rude.
away.
Ed
except-
hadn't spoke. Let's give
You
Ed
talk
some
about
time.
Go ahead,
interrupting.
talk. Say whatever
Let
the
Ed
hell
have
you
some
want to
words.
say.
Go ahead.
You walk in the room and right away you want a freaking attention.
Uh-oh. Put on
Just
your
do,
armor.
just do what you got to do.
Go, Ed.
Go ahead.
Ed, Earth, it's your
No,
day.
Ed, I want to hear you.
It's all you,
Ed, come on. Ed, you out of here. Brian's got to go, y'all. Ed, after break, we want to hear what Ed says.
You ain't doing.
Come on.
What were
Ed.
you
Sorry,
saying? Go ahead.
Thanks,
I'm
Brian.
not going to beg
There's
you.
Brian.
See
Come back
you.
whenever.
Thanks for
Bye,
If you
Brian.
run into Chris Payne, tell him to come on in still. We can throw him on the set. So he's supposed to. He didn't
All
get
right.
the message I guess.
Here we
Brian,
go.
thanks a lot for picking me up, man.
Let's read the
Yeah,
chatters.
yeah,
That's
Brian's
something
story.
I
wanna hear it, Ed.
Alex said.
Yes.
He said, you guys got to get in touch
No,
with the
but we
chatter.
do pretty good at this. We do go to the chatters as much. We try.
Well, when?
We do. We do. We do. I've thrown them in there. I've tried.
Well, Seafluke says,
See you, brother.
standing up
Did
for
I
what
leave
is
it in
right
the car?
is the key.
I didn't leave
The
it in
approach
car.
should be tailored to the culture or cultures.
Steve Fluke said
S.
this.
All right.
Yes.
That's it, Seafluke. We know we're standing up for what's right.
Well, yeah.
And the thing about it, the movie 42 just verified that last night.
Yeah.
Because it was the comparisons were there, and all those people in the audience that were silent about this Sammy Davis shooting, that were on the fence about it, had to in a way feel like shit.
Yeah.
After leaving that movie. Mm-hmm. Because it made themselves look in the mirror. It made them look in the mirror and say, who are you in this movie? Are you the one against Jackie playing professional baseball, or are you the one for it?
Are you Pee Wee Reese or
That's it.
Branch Rickey, or are you?
Are you the redneck Phillies coach who's calling him nigger on the field over and over while he's trying to bat?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It puts the mirror in front of you and it couldn't have happened to a better city at a better time.
Yeah.
With that movie being filmed here, and then the incidents on December 21st. Michael, Coffee Guy, you said, what was the numerology connection? It's funny you say that. And again, I'm not trying to put the onus and the light on me, but, you know, the one year I played football for 9th grade Central, I was number 42.
No shit.
Yes. I got pictures of me in my football uniform. I was 42.
Well,
One
that's
year I
the
played
only
football.
baseball number that's been retired besides
That's
the other
right.
one.
And they say that at the end of the movie, that
Yeah.
that's the only number in professional baseball retired. 42.
Right.
From all
every
the
year
teams,
in April,
all the
every year in
teams.
April, all the people on the teams wear 42. for one game.
Ed, I want to apologize, but here's the thing. You're given an opportunity to say something, and the only thing you can say is Al Tillman can't run, he's too fat.
Well, he's entitled to his
Is
opinion.
that's not important.
No, Ed had an opinion. He's entitled to it. I want to hear what Ed's got to say. He might have other reasons for it.
I know.
But, you know, Ed's done talking.
Coffee Guy says art imitating life. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you remember, Michael, you've seen my 1 year in football. You were the big sports guy. I was 42. I got my picture of me holding the ball in the stance for the photo, the team photo. I was 42. That was my number.
Yeah.
I was a safety. I wasn't a starter. I was second string, but I was one of the few white guys.
I was on, well, the only sport I was in was in track. I was number 18.
That's right.
On the track team, because that was the number on my track bag. So
see, Fluke, because not putting the light on Ant. What a radical concept.
Gamer Girl says, yeah, I think you guys check on us a lot. You don't have to ignore.
We do. We are pretty good.
Who's telling you guys that you need to go to Chatters more?
A friend of ours,
regular
Alex.
Chatter?
His old buddy, old boss of mine. Here's Gamer Girl right here. Doing the hula dance.
And I never read the book. You're such a slacker.
What book? You talking about the book about Jackie Robinson, or
yeah, I guess so.
The Bible. Oh, you're going the book and movie. Maybe you're talking about Hunger Games or something.
Not putting a light on Ant. What a radical concept.
Oh, yeah. See, that's a good one. Touche. He got me.
All right.
Urex's side. I'm going to remember their name. I can't think about it right now, but remember. Retired number 21, C. Fluke says. Coffee Guy says you were 42. That's right. And my brother's birthday is April 2nd. 4-2. That's right.
How old's your brother?
He's 3 years older than me. He's 47. Because I'll be 44 in May.
He's 47, so he's younger than you.
He's older than me, younger than you.
Ed's the oldest guy in the room, right?
Coffee guy had a lot of numbers.
What,
my brother was 18, 22, 40, 44.
You all right, Ed? Don't go choking on me.
Gamer Girl has some moves. Yes, she does. Anyway, good conversation. We thank you for joining us. It's 10:05, about 20 seconds. This is Thursday's edition.
It's time for a break right now. It's 65 degrees in Macon, Georgia. It's partly cloudy right now with a huge chance of afternoon showers and evening showers tonight with a high of 83 and a low of 63. You're watching the Morning Roast.
We'll be right back.
We'll be back on a subject we almost hit on a minute ago. We'll be back. What's up, DS Photo Guy? How was trivia?
Just dig it at me.
Yeah, and Bryant left because Bryant wanted to karaoke this song.
This is great.
This is Jeb Stewart. James B. Stewart. Beauregard. Let's see if I can name some of these guys. There's Lee. That's Jeb Stewart. That's Stonewall Jackson.
That's Jefferson Davis.
Well, that picture. We're kind of lagging. We're lagging on it. It's a good choice, Ed.
Well, it showers in the land of coffee and old time there. I'm not forgot to look away, Dixieland. In Dixieland.
Side Boogie's about to make a smart ass remark, I know it.
I love it, Ed.
Me too. That's the brilliance we want behind the board, Ed. Right? That's the brilliance.
Where the hell did he get this?
It's awesome. Oh, wow, DS. There you go.
There's our Northerners.
Wow. Look at Sabugi got the dancer. Get it, Sabu. Quick break. Back at
Okay.
Actually, I'm pretty impressed with this. Ed, you did a great job with this. Where the hell did you get this?
He's not listening. Southpaw Confederate Gangnam Style.
The guy pulls shit out of the wind. That's Robert E. Lee, right?
That's Saibuki. This is like the mashup. This is like the freaking remix. It's like, how long is this going? What is this, the Skrillex edition? Leave it. The hell is it? I love it. It's like Traveler. There's Lee on his horse Traveler. You know, everybody remembers Lee's horse's name. Nobody remembers U.S. Grant's horse's name. You don't remember it? Traveler, everybody remembers. Glory was a good movie. Glory's a good movie. You like Glory? Yeah. Might not be real accurate, but it's good. Thank you, Ed.
Thank you,
Ed.
Ed.
That is the incentive that we want and the gusto we want to come up with shit like that on your own. That
I
makes
love
us
it. He did a great job with that.
That's the super glue that holds this show together.
Yep.
Okay.
And that was fantastic. Where the hell did you get that?
Off of YouTube, right?
YouTube.
It was amazing.
What we got to do now is the next break. We need to just counteract that with some very militant, like Black Panther theme song.
I thought we were on break.
I'm kidding. I'm just. We just covered all. It's the morning roast.
That was the last break.
I know. Brian would have loved that.
Speaking of Civil War, the movie Glory is going to be playing tonight on Bounce TV at 8 p.m. The Oscar-winning movie starring Denzel Washington in his Oscar-winning performance, along with Morgan Freeman, Matthew Broderick, and Andre Braugher.
And what's his name from A Different World in that movie? Or no, am I mixing it up? I could have swore the one with the glasses in A Different World, the Cosby Show.
That's Kadeem Hardison.
Was he not in there? I could have sworn.
No, that's
Who's
Andre
the guy
Braugher.
that looks like him?
That's Andre Braugher. Yes,
you know what I mean? Because I haven't seen Glory in about 10 years. Last time I saw it, but I thought it was always Kadeem Hardison. But okay, it's not. Yeah, that's a good movie. It's a very good movie. Morgan Freeman, very touching. Have you ever seen Glory? Glory. Have you ever seen Glory about the Black Regiment? The Black Regiment. Slaughtered on the beach.
Yes, it's basically the story based on the letters of
Denzel Washington,
of Colonel Shaw, a young Union Union officer.
By the way,
who was commissioned to lead the
Negro
54th,
Regiment,
the all-black 54th Regiment from Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Who were the first black soldiers in the American Civil War?
Well, they were up north. They were way up north.
Stuff happened, man. Stuff happened.
And there were, and believe it or not, there were some black Confederate soldiers. They probably didn't have any guns that were loaded.
Well,
but they were some Confederates.
No. Opposite. They're going to load their guns because they're going to make sure they shoot some of those Northerners.
Yeah.
They wanted to make sure those blacks killed some Northerners.
You have blacks on one side, blacks on the other.
Yeah. But no, they for sure
the blacks in the north were given the promise of total freedom if they fought the war.
Right.
The blacks in the South were just thrown in there because they were slaves. They didn't care.
Well, that was mostly near the end of the war, anyway, when the South knew they were going to lose anyways.
Yeah.
But it was just cannon fodder for the Union Army.
Unnecessary interruption, but if we can find a lot of these, we can attach these to the wall and help with our acoustics.
Oh shoot, yeah.
You know, this is
actually
what we need.
You can put that around
this
the mic.
This is what we need for acoustics, guys. I brought them from the house.
Believe it or not, that's what you can put around the mic.
We need them. Yeah.
And the mic would sound better.
That's the stand for Wally I gave you. Wally goes on that. That's his stand.
Wally.
That thing. See, it says his name.
Oh, really?
That goes with it.
Wow.
I'm bringing the shit we're getting rid of. Anyway, this is the morning roast and this toy giveaway. I'm bringing some old toys that my kids don't want anymore, and Irvin said, bring them here. We'll decorate the set. There's the old broken Wally right there that was Elizabeth's and Max's. They don't want it anymore. So
we love our toys.
Anyway, but good conversation, guys.
Mm-hmm.
And
speaking of some stories, I had something that I found from originalpeople.org.
And before you say this, I want to comment that Saibuki said something pretty funny. The best speaking English person, he said, is a black Nigerian.
Mm-hmm.
That was earlier, so now we're going to this about a Nigerian.
Yes, about Nigeria, yes. Nigeria's dangerous skin whitening obsession has world's highest percentage of women using skin lightening agents. Now we've heard of women from India getting skin lightening,
bleaching themselves out, like Michael Jackson was accused of doing.
They're all following
and Little
Jackson.
Kim also,
Little Kim.
and even Sammy Sosa, because for some reason
I don't think it's steroids.
Sammy Sosa lightened his skin.
well,
They blamed him of that.
There's supposedly some pictures of Sammy Sosa
looking real light.
Look like Michael Jackson on steroids.
Yeah,
or
he does. You haven't seen those right after you retired?
They sit in like soap baths and shit.
But because like well, I don't want to say is it popular now, but there was a lot of Dominicans, and Sam Sosa of Dominican descent. There's a lot of people
Cubans
who basically were in denial of being black people in Latin America. So, notwithstanding the fact that over 90% of the slaves went to Latin America and the Caribbean, only 5% went to the United States, or the colonies that later became the United States.
Let me see that.
This is our chatterbox. Whenever somebody's in chatterbox, we go, shut up.
That's Derek. He's Derek.
They're going to use that with me a lot.
He's giving the opportunity to talk.
Every time I'm a chatterbox, that's what we run.
But anyway, get into the story about skin bleaching. Yes. In Lagos, Nigeria, after carefully washing her face, legs, and arms, Taiwo Solomon vigorously rubs cream over her body. She is meticulous and makes sure she covers her entire face. She's 32 years old. Miss Solomon is bleaching her skin. She believes fairer skin could be her ticket to a better life, so she spends her meager savings on cheap black market concoctions that promise to lighten her pigment. And this has been a daily routine for her for the past 15 years. And she believes it just makes her feel special, like I'm walking around in a spotlight. And Solomon is not alone, according to the World Health Organization, WHO, which 77% of women in Nigeria use skin lightening products, the world's highest percentage. That compares with 59% in Togo and 27% in Senegal. The reasons for this are varied, but most people say they use skin lighteners because they want white skin, quote unquote.
Want to be white.
Yeah.
Terrible.
In many parts of Africa, lighter skinned women are considered more beautiful and are believed to be more successful and are likely to find marriage.
Okay, guys, Irvin, let us discuss this. Let us.
You know who said that?
Okay.
Let us discuss this.
You know who said that initially? It was the woman from damn, what's her name?
Florida.
Yeah, Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she did that on her show.
Okay, so anyway, what do you think, Derek? I mean, isn't it kind of a shame people are trying to lighten themselves up? You got to feel that way.
Well, yeah, no doubt about it. I mean,
I've heard about it. Being a Michael Jackson fan, were you disappointed in him when he was doing that? Let's be honest.
Yes, because he really didn't have to do it. People, I mean, people knew of him from his younger days as a kid, and he was much darker.
Right.
It's just kind of sad they had to go that way.
Something I brought for you to give to Chloe. Little baby picture album. My Little Pony DVD.
Okay.
She likes that.
Very nice.
There's some gifts for Chloe.
I love these teeth.
Yes.
But I guess I got a story breaking news.
They're better than Ed's.
From yeah, got it from Ed. Says Bibb County Coroner Leon Jones said a 3-month-old infant died after falling from a grocery shopping cart
Ridiculous.
Tuesday.
God, man, what is up?
Police say the infant was secure in his carrier, but not secure to the seat in the cart when the carrier tipped over. That's because they say that there was nowhere for the carrier to latch onto. The incident happened in the Kroger parking lot on Forsyth Road. Jones calls it a terrible accident and says the 3-month-old was in an infant carrier on top of the shopping cart, which the cart hit a speed breaker.
And that Kroger is not the Sammy Davis Jr. Kroger.
No.
That is, if you're out of town, that Forsyth Kroger is not the same
That's
one where
totally
Sammy
different.
was shot.
Yes. Macon police say a Kroger employee who was friends with the child's mother was pushing the cart when the infant fell. The three were on their way out of the store just before 11 a.m. Tuesday morning. Dr. Jason Smith with Primary Pediatrics say that at least 10 accidents from shopping carts every year. And he says that when it comes to the buggies, there's always err on the side of caution. He says that we also see a lot of accidents like this happen where car seats fall from an elevated spot, whether it be a countertop or somewhere else. says Dr. Jones. And just, a reminder to definitely make sure that we're not putting it at a high spot or altitude that includes a shopping cart. The American Association of Pediatrics has a list of rules when it comes to kids and shopping carts, but Dr. Smith says it's best to keep infant carriers in strollers that have a latch that will hold that carrier in place. If you're not able to do that, I always tell parents to put it inside the actual basket of the cart. It's just a safer place for it to be, he says.
Best thing is one of those puppies.
Are there any toys left for the kids?
You hang on your neck.
Yeah.
Hang your baby on your neck.
The harnessing, yeah.
Yes. So again, that's very sad. I mean, that kids sometimes, even with good parenting and watching your kid, you think you're doing the right thing and you're doing the best for your kids. Sometimes this shit happens.
Yes.
These freak accidents, and it's sad. It's a scary world.
Macon police also described what happened was a tragic accident. Yes. No charges are pending.
I mean, of course it's an accident. She sounds like she did everything right as far as putting the baby in the carrier.
Just had to be hit one of those little speed bump things.
Well, Winchester says that's sad. They have shopping carts with built-in carriers. Can't speak for their cleanliness.
No, that's why they put those damn wipes out for everybody to wipe down the carts now.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, this is the morning roast. It's 10:19. I wanted to address something real quick, mainly because Irvin did not get it when I tagged him in it. Saibuki, I sent it with your name. The little thing I added on the computer yesterday with the downtown, the Star Trek symbol sign.
Right.
You didn't get that? That's located on Pine Street.
I know the place.
Christopher Pine is the actor that plays Captain Kirk in the new Star Trek movies.
Is Cy?
No. But Cy, Neil Calabro made even more of an ironic coincidence. The Cy name, the name of the business, and keep in mind, people, this was an old business put in Macon around the 60s, right? This was a dealership in the 60s. Okay, back when, and this is kind of like the so-called like eerie Twilight Zone-ish thing I was talking about. Well, I posted these pictures. What I learned after the fact, I was only posting that I thought that these emblems that look like the Star Trek emblem that they all have on their shirt, it's on Pine Street.
Mm-hmm.
Keep in mind, this street was named way back before Star Trek had new movies out, with an actor named Pine playing Kirk. Well, Neil Calabro, fellow filmmaker buddy of ours, that Derek and I did You're My What for, he also informs me that Sai, spelled T''SAI, was the name of a Vulcan leader in Star Trek, old Star Trek episode. Now, what is that for eerie? You've got an old sign, circa 60s, downtown still, looks like the Star Trek sign.
That's correct.
Company is Psy, which is a character of Vulcan.
I get it.
And it's on Pine Street, which now Christopher Pine, ever since the new rebooted Star Trek, plays Cap. That is pretty fucking eerie, guys. It's almost like...
That's when you cue that music.
Yeah, I have always said, and I'm a believer of it.
Imitating art.
Not only that, it's Alan Moore, the great British author who wrote From Hell, V for Vendetta, Watchmen, one of my favorite writers, period, whether in the graphic novel industry or a writer, period. He has always been about the architecture, and your surroundings is so key to our life, to the way the universe is, that it's amazing some of the stuff it ends up symbolizing and how, and you guys can call it what you want. You know, I know Irvin's going to say it's divine intervention. I'm going to call it something else. But it's
does that qualify as a conspiracy?
No, it's very weird. To me, it's
Freaky Thursday.
To me, it's a pretty wild coincidence, though.
Because
you have to think that.
By the way, your brother says divide that story by 42, and that would be crazy.
The 19 factor.
It's the 19 factor.
But you know why I now put that? So when I posted that album, those pictures on the Morning Roast, I put Saibuki's name on it, knowing Saibuki.
I didn't understand what the hell.
I know you wrote. What the hell has this got to do with anything or something?
What does this mean?
And I'm trying to explain it to you. It's
wonderful.
Very fucking weird. Go downtown, man, and that is right there on Pine Street. I mean, it's very. And then Psy, I learned that Psy was a character in Star Trek.
Well, and that symbol, the Star Trek
exactly.
symbol.
And keep in mind, that was named Pine Street. What year? Back in the 30s?
Yeah.
Way before Star Trek. I mean, and then they happen to get an actor named Pine years later to play Captain Kirk.
Yeah.
It's fucking weird.
Maybe the directors of that movie were hanging around that corner
Way back.
And way back, and they got
back.
inspired.
And goes, let's cast this guy.
Half of
this
these guys are
actor
rednecks
named
that are.
Pine.
There's the sign.
That's it. This is my picture. Okay, this is it, guys. This is an old sign of a deserted lot downtown that used to be a car dealership. And look at this.
Motors.
These are obviously one an upside down version of the Star Trek symbols.
Yeah.
Obviously, this sign is circa 60s, just by the Art Deco, not the Art Deco, but the kind of way that it's made and the look of it, right?
Well,
this
even
is
the
on
word
Pine
import.
Street. This is
Even the word import.
Yes. It's
the
weird.
word port.
Right.
Isn't that the word that they use for the
portal?
The portal.
Transport.
Bimmable.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's really weird because
we have Twilight Zone music.
Because Pine Street, and then when you see the sign across, which I took a picture of the sign also, Pine Street, Pine, the actor that plays Kirk, but also Street, ST. What initials are ST?
Star Trek.
Star Trek.
There you go.
Lord have mercy.
I mean, we'll bring some crazy.
It sends chills down my spine.
Doesn't it? So I wrote on one of the posts underneath those pictures I posted, and I drove up on that about 5 weeks ago. There you go. There you go. He's gay. He's gay. He's gay. Space.
Frontier. These are the many voyages.
I used
of
to
the
be able
Netherlands.
to sing that.
Our
Enterprise.
2-year plan is to seek out new stories, also new projects, to boldly go where no media source
Captain.
has gone before.
Captain.
I'm a doctor, for God's sakes.
Bear it out.
Captain.
Yeah.
Let me explain something to you, Captain.
That's illogical.
Stop getting emotional. That's coming from me, of course.
That's right.
That's illogical,
Yes.
I must say.
Anyway.
No, it's logical.
Anyway.
Oh, it isn't.
I wrote that now what they need to do is when they make the third Star Trek movie, because the new one's coming out soon.
Yes.
Star Trek In the Dark or whatever the fuck it's called or something, where everybody says they claim the bad guy and it's supposed to be Khan. But I don't know.
Yeah, well, that guy's dead.
Anyway.
Who
now what they need to do is they need to bring the third movie and film the third Star Trek movie and make it.
Well,
Wouldn't
let
that
me
be
just
wild?
say this. They better
There
get
it
a
is.
guy with an accent.
Yes.
Because Ricardo Montalban,
Hard act
nobody
to follow.
could beat him.
Hard act to follow.
Yes. Yeah.
Didn't we just talk about hard acts to follow? Having to be that one that follows the Jacksons?
Yeah.
Having to be that one that follows
Follow
whoever.
the follow.
Exactly. Imagine
Follow
having to
as you
follow Ricardo Montalban
The
as
rich
Khan.
Corinthian leather.
Khan.
Khan!
Anyway.
Man. Come on, man.
God, I'm burning up. It's hot in here. Woo!
Well, guess what? I saw, what's his face on Letterman yesterday.
Harrison Ford, I heard.
Harrison Ford.
Yes. I heard he got teary-eyed promoting 42.
Yeah, he did.
Well, you see, Paul Bronson put up his picture of him with Harrison Ford when he was on the set. Did you see that picture?
No.
Paul Bronson got a picture with Harrison Ford back when he was on the set of the
Listen,
filming of 42.
I like Paul Bronson. I really do.
I like Charles Bronson
But
better.
I think that Paul Bronson
I like Death Wish
is
better.
a brown nose. Okay?
Charles Bronson.
He doesn't want to look bad.
Well, they're politicians, Irving, of course. That's why you're not the norm, because you're the loud guy that will not play the game.
Yeah.
You're the politician, but you're also just the wacky guy that's
You know
all
what he
out.
said to me?
What did he say?
He said, don't use my Facebook, because I went off a little bit on his page.
Yeah.
He said, don't use my page to berate the leaders of this city. Exactly. Be like you.
Right.
Keep your mouth shut, not say a word about anything. Because you want to look good.
Who said that?
And they, Paul Bronson. And so,
It's Toy Day.
all I'm saying is,
Give peace a chance. Here's a little stamper.
I can't stand brown noses.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. And that's why I say what I say about the other ones like Danny Glover. He's very external, and he comes across looking flashy and shiny, but what does he have inside?
Who the hell knows?
Right.
I have no clue.
We got to do Wordsmith. We got to do Daily Bread. We have to do Eat Your
Are we
Words.
almost out of time?
We got about 30 minutes.
Yeah, we got 30 minutes.
Well, let's go ahead and talk to the chatters. Gamer Girl
It's
says, I know I was
stolen
reading
from
that.
the original Genesis storyline about Khan being leader of a revolution.
No, Gamer Girl, I'm not. Even though you can't spell Anthony Harris without AH, I have not been diagnosed with ADHD.
Oh, guess who's back? Fancy Fanny.
What's up, Fanny?
How you doing?
Letterman is making everyone cry this week.
Oh, hell.
Yeah, right. Please fasten your seatbelts and replace the
Oh
tape.
yeah, Lindsay Lohan talking about, were you drunk or blah blah? Yeah.
No. Winchester, Danny Glover hasn't been the same since he made that crazy movie.
The Color Purple.
Winfrey.
Get it?
Purple,
This
yeah.
is another Danny Glover.
Riggs! I'm running for county commissioner, Riggs!
Or do you remember Danny Glover in the second Predator movie? Which I liked. I liked the second Predator. A lot of people didn't like it. They liked the first one, but they didn't. But I love the idea of them sending them to the city. And then Danny Glover's the cop that's got to fight the Predator in the city. I like that. That was awesome.
Fancy
that.
Fanny, welcome back.
Yeah.
Saibuki.
Saibuki, what else do you
What
have to
else
say?
is
Oh,
there?
wise
I love
master.
The Color Purple.
So
Good
Saibuki, you don't give a rat's ass about the whole Star Trek thing in Pine Street in Macon, Georgia, right? Of course.
Beloved.
Anyway,
that was a good movie. Which I'll definitely want to talk about that tomorrow when the movie 42 comes out.
Is that a Tyler Perry movie?
No, that came out way before Tyler
No,
Perry.
it came out in 1998.
Yeah.
This was a movie adaptation of Toni Morrison's novel Beloved.
Yes, I never saw.
You know what was a great movie? Do you remember that movie
Nick Chopper and the 40
with the
Wolves.
guy that played Gandhi?
Yes.
What the hell is his
Ben
name?
Kingsley.
Ben Kingsley.
Which movie
It
you
was
talking
called
about?
like
Monster?
No, the one that he owned.
Beast? Sexy Beast?
No. The
Sexy
one
Beast
that
was
he owned a house and this woman steps in.
The Iranian woman?
Yeah.
What's it called?
She was nominated for an Academy Award.
Yes.
Yeah.
Shamalu. What was her name? I know what you mean. What was that called? House of something?
Yeah, House of Sand.
Yes. I didn't see it, but I know what you're talking about.
Oh my God, what a great movie.
But you know it's a great Ben Kingsley movie? Sexy Beast.
Yeah, we're actually...
Saibuki, did you see Sexy Beast where Kingsley is a foul-mouthed guy?
Yeah.
You motherfucking...
He was totally different from Gandhi,
Did you see
boy.
Sexy Beast?
I saw bits and pieces of it.
Man.
I haven't seen the movie.
Sexy Beast.
Home Sweet Home, Alabama, Reese Witherspoon.
Sexy Beast was nuts, Winchester.
Mine is Shawshank Redemption.
I just finally got Shawshank Redemption on DVD.
You never watched Shawshank Redemption?
I've seen it.
You own it.
I saw it.
I finally got a DVD.
That's an awesome movie.
It's a great movie.
I just love my, Morgan Freeman's
I love the
narration.
ending. Finally, there's a good ending to all these movies.
I had a
You went
promise to
through
be
hell.
my friend.
Shawshank is great.
Andy
Didn't we
Dufresne.
talk about that one
Who
last night?
crawled
Game
for
ago?
500 yards in the river of shit and came clean on the other side.
Yeah.
But my favorite, one of my favorite Morgan, out of a lot of Morgan Freeman's got some great movies. We talked about Glory, but I love Seven, man. Seven is such a brilliantly written movie.
See, that's about numbers. No wonder.
No, it's about the 7 deadly sins. You never saw Seven? Man, that's a brilliant movie.
No,
I heard
that is Brad Pitt's best movie, and it's not because
there's
he's
another movie called Numbers.
No, 7 is.
Have
brilliant.
you seen it, Ed?
What about you? Seen the TV show Numbers?
Yeah, something like that.
7.
How about
is
23?
awesome.
Okay,
I can watch
How about
7.
42?
How about 42
Why not?
and 19?
No, all these movies
42
with
plus
numbers on
19
them.
is 61.
What about 8 Angry
That's when I'll
Men?
die at 61.
Yeah.
12 Angry Men.
12 Angry
12
Men.
That's a play originally. That's a great play.
That is a great.
That's a powerful play. I want somebody.
Oh, I
to
know
do
you're talking
that
about. You're
because
talking
I
about
would
8 Men
love to-
Out. 8
8
Men
Men
Out.
Out's about the baseball.
12
Angry Men's an awesome play. I'd love to be in that play. If
Yeah.
somebody does that around here, I'm going out for it.
So will I probably.
Yes.
Well,
that's
I know
a
we
powerhouse movie with strong male actors in it.
Yeah.
12 Angry Men.
Yeah, that was great.
Very
now,
nice.
who
Mr.
name some of
Roper was
the
in
actors
that.
that were in it?
Norman Fell.
You got to come up with
Was it
all
Martin
12.
Balsam?
Martin
Walt
Balsam.
Balsam. Norman Fell.
Was Brian Keith in it?
I don't think.
Was
Well,
it?
what version? They did a few versions. You talking about the old
Wasn't
version?
Jack Klugman in it?
Jack Klugman.
Jack Klugman, yeah.
There was a TV movie version made in the 80s. It might have had Brian Keith, but the old black and white was
Yeah, go
Norman
with
Fell,
the original.
Norman Fell, Klugman. Somebody's gonna look it up. One of our chatters is gonna go on IMDb. That's fine. Norman Fell, Klugman. I want to say Martin Balsam. Was
Martin Balsam was in it,
right?
that's correct.
Right? Martin Balsam. What about Ernest Borgnine?
Ernest Borgnine was in it.
Borgnine. Yes. Awesome.
We're doing what? You got 4?
That's like 7. That's 6. Borgnine, Balsam, Fell, Klugman.
Borgnine.
We said him. Yeah, I guess that is 5.
All right, Quincy passed away also.
Lee J. Cobb. Yes, C. Fluke's right. Lee J. Cobb was in it. That's right.
Who else, guys?
Bring it on, guys. Look it up. Bring it on. But it's an awesome play and movie. Very
Yeah, that's
cool.
great. Reginald Rose.
Don't remember that guy.
Who the hell is that?
Very cool movie.
The only Reginald I know is Elton John.
But anyway, we're on the movie talk.
E.G. Marshall.
E.G. Marshall. Yes.
So yeah, I remember the movie Soul of the Game.
Henry Fonda.
That was one of the very few HBO
Well, Fonda was the
movies.
main guy.
Yeah.
Fonda was the guy that had to switch them all. Remember? He was the one sold
Ed
the
Begley, not Junior.
Yeah, the dad. That's right. Fonda was the sole guy that dissented that had to switch everybody his way by the end of the thing.
Yeah.
Because they all were going with their one verdict, and he had to switch it.
So yeah, now Gamer Girl, there's one movie that I think you would definitely would love, Soul of the Game. It's around that same era of Jackie Robinson. It's basically of the Negro League baseball players who were around at the time prior to Jackie Robinson breaking the color barrier in Major League Baseball. Now, not too many people know that there used to be an all-star game where the Major League players, the all-white Major League players, played the Negro League players. And most of the time, I think
What year was the last one of those?
I guess probably 1946, I guess.
Dolomite?
You know what Dolomite? Dolomite's the comedian.
Yeah.
He says with Dolomite in that movie.
He was a movie. It was a movie.
Rudy Ray Moore, he's a
Rudy Ray
comedian,
Moore played.
and he played this movie called Dolomite. Actually, I think that played last Saturday night on Bounce TV. It's one of those blaxploitation movies.
All right, Saibuki, you win. He's right.
Yes.
Stuff something in my mouth.
Okay, but anyway, but Soul of the Game. Well, basically, it had all the players who
made
were
a paper.
Go ahead, Derek.
Basically, there was a whole lot of players who were basically vying the chance to be the first black player to play in the major leagues. You know, Jackie Robinson was among them, along with Satchel Paige.
Satchel Paige,
who
which they do mention in 42.
Yeah,
they do mention his name
because Satchel Paige and Jackie Robinson were both teammates in the Kansas City Monarchs, which was a former Negro League team, and their rivals were the Homestead Grays, a team from outside of Pittsburgh, and their number one player there at that time was Josh Gibson, who was known as the Black Babe Ruth. And supposedly he...
No kidding.
Yeah, no kidding.
I didn't know that.
Josh Gibson was a Black Babe Ruth, which is kind of strange now, considering that there's some stories that maybe Babe Ruth might have passed for white for those years and stuff, and Ty Cobb. So maybe Babe Ruth might have been one of the few mixed
Babe
black
Ruth
baseball
was
players
white.
who did. Yeah.
What colors were
He
you
had
seeing?
he had like
That's
full
him
lips.
talking, not me.
He had full lips and stuff, and even Ty Cobb himself said, to
Wasn't
me,
he Italian or Irish?
Ty Cobb was great. Ty Cobb was a bastard from Georgia.
One of the most racist players.
But I read his biography.
He said he didn't want to sit with that Nick, and he was talking about Babe Ruth.
Right, but the thing
So
about
that
it is, even though he was so crazy and racist, I read Al Stump's biography on Cobb, the book that the Tommy Lee Jones movie's based on. And I tell you what, man, the guy was a player. He was a player. He was an awesome baseball player.
He was a horrible human being.
He was, but just as much as they had to accept Jackie Robinson as what he was, a great player, which is why you should have someone play the game. Whether you agree with the beliefs of Ty Cobb or not, he deserved to play baseball because he was a fabulous player. That's why he's one of the first to be inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Well, he wouldn't make it. He wouldn't make it past the dugout today.
He was an incredible player. He played with viciousness. He played with passion. You know, he's the guy that would sharpen his cleats.
Yeah,
slide in
and
and want to take your ass out with those sharp cleats.
Yeah,
Ty Cobb was not to be messed with.
Ty Cobb is rotting in hell.
Well, Ty Cobb
playing baseball with the devil.
He's from Georgia. But I tell you
that
what,
guy was a racist.
He was a racist, but I tell you what, he was a good baseball player.
Yeah, and he was in with the KKK, of course.
Good. Come on, Fluke. You guys just don't like him because of the racist.
Ty Cobb was a jack.
Sorry, I like him for being a good player.
And he was anti-dentite. Seinfeld. Okay.
But yeah, Jews has a lot of extraordinary people. That's the point, though. Shouldn't we hire people that get the job done, regardless of their color and their opinions and their beliefs? When it comes down to it,
he wouldn't make it past the dugout today.
Well, it's a different
they
time.
They killed that son of a bitch.
You're ignoring the topic. We always say how we're always saying how Rick Knight does not deserve to have a show because he's not good at it.
But yet he has a show.
Yet he has a show, right?
Yeah.
At least you got to be good at what you do. even if you might have some fucked up beliefs, even if you got to have some fucked up opinions, you got to be good at what you do.
Mm-hmm.
So they're all saying, well, what's your excuse, Anthony?
Obama's cat says, I hate people that talk during a movie or TV show.
Mm-hmm.
So do I.
Yeah, so we should shut up and just let the chat go on its own.
Remember you were talking
Chief
about, you
says
didn't think
it's all about Ant.
You didn't think that anti-Semitism, I guess Hitler's was not considered racist, quote unquote, because it's like basically a white on white or something like that?
Wait, I missed something. What are we talking about? What about Hitler?
Well, remember we were talking about anti-Semitism. You wondered why it was considered a form of. You didn't think it was racist, or
no? That wasn't
racism?
just me. That was also some of the chatter says you could not consider Jews a race. Remember, that was one of the topics on this show, because it was when Irvin was talking about the Bible.
Well, yeah.
And he was mentioning the Jews, and I don't remember who it was on here that said, was it Graybeard or Vorpelbein?
There's a guy named Jews now.
But somebody was saying Jews are not a race.
Well, yeah.
That's correct.
Technically speaking, it's basically, they're a congregation.
Right.
They're unified by a faith.
Well, and that's the problem with Israel, that Israel tries to pull off that they're a race.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's why the Palestinians can't stand them.
And plus, not to mention, there was some time that they wouldn't allow Ethiopian Jews into Israel
or
at
Sammy
one time.
Davis. That's Sammy Davis.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's see. Race is a social construct.
That is.
I don't get too deep, Winchester.
Hey, Seafluke's trying to get a little bit of professorial.
But I'm just saying,
Matrix.
The Hitler-esque form of anti-Semitism is a form of racism because.
Yeah, of course.
Because historically,
because you're
thinking whether biblically or a secular
you're right.
historical point of view, Jews were not considered.
That's right.
White. They were just another.
Hitler wanted your white, blonde, blue-eyed super guy.
Yeah,
that's what Hitler wanted.
Considering the fact that he was half Jewish himself,
right.
So he was probably the biggest sellout.
That's kind of the hypocrisy.
Who are you talking about, Hitler?
Yeah.
Who was Austrian, by the way?
Yes.
Not German. He was Austrian.
Yes.
So don't lump him into the German that I bring up.
Yeah.
Okay, he's Austrian, people.
Yeah.
He's closer to Arnold Schwarzenegger, your beloved Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Mm-hmm. Which is kind of weird because the Jews were basically a congregation, and to be honest, European Jews, particularly Jews from Europe, weren't even considered quote unquote white until they immigrated to the United States. Until prior to that, they were just another group of people of color. I just say. Because historically or biblically, whichever you want to prefer, they weren't considered white. Because, like I said, the only white or European people that's actually mentioned in the Bible are the Greeks and Romans, and that was in the
would you believe
New Testament, not the Old Testament.
Would you believe that Hitler had constructed or made or ordered these rulers? They were like long rulers like this, and they had shapes of noses on them, and they would put that ruler up against the Jewish nose.
Check the nose.
And if it was...
as a sign of being Jewish.
That's correct.
That's right. That's right.
And, I mean, this is how insane this guy was.
Right. That's
that he actually orders this stuff.
Right.
Maybe you could say if he was half Jewish, you think it probably just a form of self-hate, perhaps.
Well, I mean,
Hitler was a scumbag.
He already had.
Well, that goes
he
without saying.
He already had some mental problems. We know that.
Yeah.
And I saw shows on the History Channel about they think that he might have had early forms of what they later on called Parkinson's disease, because they show old footage of him going down the line and looking at his troops, and when he has his hands behind his back, his hands are shaking, like Michael J. Fox. And I saw this show on, no lie, I saw this show on History Channel a few years ago say that they think Hitler might have had Parkinson's disease before they had a name for it.
That guy had more than Parkinson's.
So, he might have. He might have had something wrong with
I think he had a venereal disease.
Well, they say that too. They say he might have had gonorrhea, syphilis. Yeah. But, I mean, who knows? It's all gone and past now, but...
It's all gone to hell now.
Yeah, DS photo guy, he was strung out on drugs, DS says.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And
that guy was
Seafluke says History Chat. Well, not necessarily Seafluke. I understand what you're getting at. There's some shit that's kind of propaganda-ish, but you can't say everything on the History Channel is poor source.
Right.
You can't say that. I disagree.
Well,
I disagree. Because there's some good stuff on the History Channel. Now, they start going into their like reality show crap, and yeah, it's kind of bad.
You talking about like the Deadliest Warrior?
It's kind of bad. But when you go into your real shows on the History Channel about stuff, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Anyway, I think we got to keep moving on
We
here.
do. Hey, it's 42. Speaking of 42,
It's 10:42 right now. I got some really.
Speaking of
serious
some really
news.
bad people with some fucked up mentalities.
Yes. There has been in Atlanta, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation has announced warrants that have been issued for nearly 100 people, actually 98 to be exact.
Yeah.
100 people, nearly 100 people, suspected of distributing child pornography over the internet. GBI spokesman John Bankhead says the 3-month investigation involved 47 federal, state, and local law enforcement and criminal justice agencies.
There we go.
Bankhead says the investigation was an effort of the GBI's Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force to respond to increasing numbers of children and teens using the internet, an increase in the availability of child pornography, and an upswing in the number of predators trolling the internet for victims. Bankhead says the investigation, titled Operation Guarding Innocence, was the largest of its kind to be executed in Georgia. Since its established in 2002, the Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force has made 976 arrests in Georgia.
Yeah, you know, Georgia has a lot of pedophilia.
Yes.
And as a matter of fact, that show, what's the name of that show?
So does England. Look at Gary Glitter.
What's the name
Right,
of the show?
Sabuki?
Talking about America's Most Wanted?
No.
Dateline?
Dateline.
Yeah,
With
Dateline.
Chris Hansen?
With
Yeah,
Chris
you don't want
Hansen.
Chris Hansen walking up. You don't want Chris Hansen coming from the back row.
No.
Hey, sit down. Go ahead and take a chair.
Yeah, relax.
Go and get you some lemonade.
Yeah, tell me, why are you
You
here?
want some cookies?
What the
That
hell's-
guy is so cool.
What the hell's in the bag? Oh, condoms, whipped cream, dildos? Why'd you bring those? Oh, I was just passing through.
Don't you think that you're having this conversation and he starts whipping out on this?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
yeah, speaking of-
And the
yeah.
guys are like, I mean, right now.
Yeah, knowing the cops are going to be out there to bust them. You know, right outside in the bushes. Yeah.
Please let me go.
One in the bush. A bird in the hand.
You know what?
anyway.
They deserve everything they get.
Yeah, well, no doubt.
I was a victim of abuse.
Yes, you've told us on here before.
Completely freaked me out. This is why I am what I am today.
I am what I am, and that's what I am.
Well, speaking of crime on TV, Fox has decided to cancel America's Most Wanted after having 25 years on television.
Why? Where did they fuck up? They had to have fucked up and something happened. Did they get the wrong guy? And
It's
somebody
not that they
sued
get
him?
the wrong guy because, you know, there's a whole lot of
Right.
other shows going on that's just overflooding these crime
Yeah,
shows.
not
No one
only
cares
that,
about John
but
Walsh
the
anymore.
internet.
Yeah.
The internet has changed all the whole game.
That's true. That's true. That's for anything, not just crime, not just America's Most Wanted, but just
Yeah,
television in general.
In
How people
general.
view with
Who would have
YouTube
known
alone. Yeah.
20 years ago
20
that
yeah.
the internet would be as powerful as it is?
Yeah.
Look, we're having conversations with people in freaking England.
Yeah,
Who
in
would have
Australia.
thought that 10 years ago?
Exactly.
Well, I was doing it, but I was doing it over the phone. I was talking to friends in Germany over the phone by dialing like a 20-digit number. It's like Germany, 011-356-2-4499. It was like this long-ass telephone
I know,
number.
I know.
You know, that's why I used to talk to my German
And you
friends.
never know if it goes through or not.
Yeah,
By the
you
way,
get
before-
arthritis dialing that stuff.
You're like dialing the freaking encyclopedia.
But anyway, as I was saying, they're no longer extending the contract of America's Most Wanted and John Walsh. He's gonna have maybe some new show in the future, but after 25 years, America's Most Wanted is going off there. Despite that, they have definitely helped crime. They have solved the cases of capturing over 1,000 convicts, as well as rescuing dozens and dozens of children and teenagers that were kidnapped. So
I guess they're going to have a show called America's Most Wanted. Where are they now?
Pause.
It's a joke.
In death row.
Well, where are they now? They're still sitting in
I was
jail.
mentioning Eileen Wuornos is a grave
Eileen
marker or
Wuornos. Very good movie, though.
Mm-hmm.
Eileen Wuornos.
He did do a great thing for the memory of his
Charlize Theron
kid.
is good as Eileen
Yeah,
Wuornos.
exactly. Definitely.
And he says, I get Amber Alerts on my phone. They scare the crap out of me. They're so loud. By the way, going back to these pedophiles, when you think about it, this state is filled with them, right? Am I right?
Well, I think the world is filled with them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
But you're
especially
right.
in these European countries.
No. I think U.S. is filled with them more so.
Yeah,
because it's the countries that are so freaking puritanical. Europe is not so puritanical. Europe has it right about nudity. They don't look at nudity as just sexual. Their beaches have people running around topless. It's no big deal. America are the uptight, anal, tightwad people that make a big fucking deal out of sex, right? And I think that's one reason why we have these crazy, wacky pedophiles.
And crazy, wacky serial killers.
England and Europe and Germany and France are more relaxed about it because they just don't make a big deal about it.
Right.
Well, yeah, but that's...
And I'm not saying there's not pedophiles over there. But, yes.
Yeah.
The U.S. needs to just loosen up on its puritanical mentality.
America needs to loosen up, but Europe needs to tighten up, right?
Well, no, not at all. I mean, I don't think Europe does need to tighten up. I don't have a problem with places like Amsterdam. Which is not necessarily Europe, but you know what I'm saying. Amsterdam more so. You know, I don't have a problem with legalized prostitution, legalized drugs, if it's done in moderation. I don't have a problem with it, and I think America is way too much of a tightwad country about shit.
Have you ever realized? We talked about this before about like European movies and television compared to American television and movies. Americans think that Europeans are crazy because they can show full frontal nudity in television. They're more relaxed about sex and not on violence.
Right.
But Europeans think Americans are crazy because they're uptight about
violence down our kids' throat, but don't dare talk about it.
Here's a very interesting point.
You will see a drive-by shooting than a lap dance on American.
Well, here's an interesting point that Juice brings up. America has more sex crimes because in Europe a 16-year-old can have sex with an adult. America infantizes girls and women.
But
actually,
Rosin can't see your lips.
Yes, we got to remember Rosin. That's why we always say look at the camera.
She just got on, right?
We got to always look at the camera for our deaf people. And I'm sitting there talking with jelly beans in my mouth.
All right, so what else? City Bum says most Arab countries have a high level of pedos. It has something to do with them being sexually repressed.
Good point, City Bum. Might be so.
Saibuki says degenerate. Jews is the same way in Canada.
Saibuki says nudity is un-English. Well, maybe so, because English are known to cover up too much. You know, hell, they used to wear the fucking wigs, powdered wigs, and all these fucking outfits.
But the Spice Girls messed that up. So.
Yeah, but anyway.
Yeah, all these. Anyway, let's go to Wordsmith.
Sex is natural. Sex is good.
Not
everybody does it, but everybody should.
Hey, pick out
There's a British guy for you.
Somebody pick
that
out
old poofta, George Michael, that poofta.
Actually, Gamer Girl already put a page.
Gamer Girl. Right here's the Gamer Girl doll, the official Gamer Girl doll. Get you one now by ordering it on the Morning Roast. You put the sunlight on it there, and it goes in your window, and she shakes back and forth.
Really?
It's solar panel. We just don't have any sunlight.
All right, here we go.
What number?
Wordsmith.
Page 42, entry number
42? Of course it's 42.
Yes.
We all come together. What entry?
That's a 19 factor.
Oh. Ah! I love it. That's
okay. The word of the day is atrocious.
What the hell is that?
It could have been a tone. A tone was almost the word of the day, but that was number one.
Okay, atrocious.
Atrocious.
Traced back to its ultimate source, atrocious meant something not too dissimilar to having a black eye. Latin ater, A-T-E-R, was black, dark. It occurs also in English atrabilious, or melancholic. Greek melas, M-E-L-A-S, meant black. 42.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, and the stem OC and OX meant looking, appearing. Latin oculus as an eye.
Yes.
And ferox, fierce, based on ferus, wild or wild-eyed. And
fierce, as in the Spice Girls.
Yes, and source of English ferocious.
Yes.
Were formed from it, and it goes back to an earlier Indo-European base, which also produced Greek ops, O-P-S, I, and English I, E-Y-E. Combined, they have formed atrox, literally, quote, of a dark or threatening appearance, hence gloomy, cruel. English borrowed it in stem of atrocity, originally in the sense of wantonly cruel. So the word of the day is
atrocious.
Wow.
That's absolutely
let
atrocious.
me just say,
A dark or threatening appearance.
Dark.
I can't believe
they're letting him play baseball.
that pink
That's
elephant
atrocious.
jacket.
Atrocious.
The brother says that pink elephant jacket
was atrocious.
No, it's ferociously atrocious.
Atrocious. But you know what? It made a statement. That,
sure did.
That is an infamous jacket. That will go in the Smithsonian if Macon had a Smithsonian.
Every day Earth's lack of knowledge of English
fascinates me.
Why do I need to know about your country?
Oh, man.
I know about the Queen and about, oh, by the way,
Beatles and the Who.
You people are ungrateful. You know how horrible,
you got him, Simon. You
how
got him stirred up.
They're treating Margaret Thatcher. They're putting on parties. Ding dong, the witch is dead.
Wow.
You people are a bunch of haters.
Wow.
You hate your people.
You're defending the
Your own
Republican
kind.
woman. You're defending Reagan's
really
lady,
care.
Mr. Democrat over here.
No, I don't really care. She was a great prime minister.
Wow.
And she actually straightened out that stupid ass country of yours.
Wow.
I mean, I like Margaret Thatcher too, but I have to admit though, the same people who hate Margaret Thatcher are also the same people here in America that hate Reagan.
Wow.
Because there was a whole, because I don't know,
right?
Because when
they
Reagan
were buddies, they loved each other.
When Reagan died, I'm gonna lie. Seeing it, I saw the funeral motorcade of Reagan procession, and all the people that went to his funeral. Johnny Mathis was the only black guy there.
And it's a light-skinned black guy.
Light-skinned black with good hair. With good hair.
Well, all I'm saying is,
the only black face in the entire funeral.
Margaret Thatcher
Lily
did more for
Anglo-Saxon Alpine white.
No, Margaret Thatcher did more for England than the Queen did. Because the only thing the Queen could do is be as cold as a freaking ice cube when Princess Diana died.
Wow.
Okay? That Queen of yours is a real heartless woman.
Wow.
She's horrible. I like her grandkids though. But why is that? Why is that?
In Georgia.
Because they got Diana's blood. That's the only reason why. That biggie and freak of yours that looks like Albert from the Mad Magazine. That guy's an idiot.
Or the World Wide Web.
That's right.
Hey, he goes around telling Miss Bowles, whatever her name is, that he wants to wear her like a tampon. That's the kind of king and queen that you have in your country. And then instead of like backing up Margaret Thatcher, everybody's hating on her. Why? She was a better human being
because
than that
they didn't like her
Prince
conservative
Charles.
stance, just like everybody gets on the Bush's case in the U.S. and they got on Reagan. They don't like conservatism.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't like Reaganomics in America, just like
that
people
woman's
didn't
a
like
cold
Thatcherism.
fish.
Yeah. But the thing about
she got a nice voice,
yeah,
but she sounds like a 15-year-old talking that.
I mean, Saibuki is going
going
off. All caps.
Margaret Thatcher was an
caps.
evil bitch. She ran our country into the ground. She stole milk from children. She tried to kill the old off.
Yeah, whatever.
Go cook.
Yes, she was a fucking amazing woman, and I use the term very loosely. And if I had my way, I would make sure she was fucking staked through the heart before they buried her.
He didn't say heart. You added the heart.
Well, yeah, I added that part.
Because she was an effing bitch.
That's the vocalization talents of
I'm
a
glad
man
you
who
had
reads
her.
novels on tape. He had to add heart in there.
Well, then I'm glad that you had her and not us. But we do.
Oh, damn.
We do
It is
appreciate her.
I think it's 3 bears.
Hello,
Answer.
Monroe.
You're on the roast. Go. Hello, Heather. Bryant's gone, but I'll see if Derek can give me a ride home.
Derek, please give a ride home.
That's what it sounds like when you're out late at night and you only get 3 hours sleep, everybody.
Okay.
That's Heather. All right, sweetie, thanks. You want me to bring you anything? Alka-Seltzer?
No, I don't need anything, but...
If you want to bring something, bring it.
But don't tell people. Thanks so much.
No, they know we were out late watching 42, went and roasted afterwards in karaoke. Love you. All right. Thanks for calling. All your businesses all across the World Wide Web. There we go. There's Heather waking up with a hangover. She didn't go to work today.
Okay.
Kids are off at school.
So you got the Eat Your Words thing going?
Hell, that was Eat Your Words enough. Right there. When Heather called.
Winchester says she's drunk dialing the show.
And you know what? The sad thing is she sounded the most relevant and sensical out of all of us, is that call.
Wow.
Anyway, Eat Your Words. Let's do this one. This is one for all of my, and you guys can put what you want into my reason
I thought
for
we
this.
did words. Oh,
No, this is Eat Your Words.
Insult.
This is for my religious people and my people. Well, we were talking about 42 and all that, but here we go. Thomas Carlyle on, this is him on Charles Darwin. Carlyle, who lived from 1795 to 1881, pretty old motherfucker. Charles Darwin, he says, I have no patience whatever with these guerrilla damnifications of humanity. Doesn't it? That's why I picked it. This is Thomas Carlyle on Charles Darwin. I have no patience whatever with these guerrilla damnifications of humanity.
Them damn dirty apes.
There you go. The original Charlton Heston.
Tell that to Saibuki.
The original. No wonder he's Carlyle. Charleston, Carlyle. There's a 19 factor there. Anyway,
Wow.
so there's your Eat Your Words. Thomas Carlyle says on Charles Darwin, I have no patience, whatever, with these guerrilla damnifications of humanity. I had to pull that one out. Had to pull that one.
Did you hear that, Saibuki?
Woo! 1 minute left.
Coffee guys, it's time for the Athens matches.
Athens
It's
matches.
time for our
And this
daily
flew
break.
by.
All right.
Derek Saibuki says, Derek understands where I was going with that.
Thank you very much.
Steve Luke says, sounds like you guys need a company car. We do.
Yes,
Can
sir.
you donate one? We'll write morning roast on the side of it. We'll run around, drive around town with it. Put a big coffee cup on the top of it. Put Irvin in the coffee cup.
This is Anthony's logo.
Yes. That's the chatterbox. Yes. Okay, let's do daily
here we
bread.
go.
Thank you, Ed.
Thank you, Ed. Whew. None of us can say that we have no regrets. Often, we are led down paths of bad choices. Some paths longer than others, which can have a lingering effect on the mind, body, and soul. A friend of mine spent a number of years living a life of alcohol and drug abuse. But God did an amazing work in his life. And he recently celebrated 25 years of being free from substance abuse. He now runs a successful business, has a devoted wife, and his children love Jesus.
Can I stop you? Rosalind said the only part of the show I loathe is because I cannot see your mouth.
Yeah, because it
You
puts that
have
picture
to
on
look
there.
up.
I can't read
Can
it
you
and,
hold
and
it up?
look up.
Okay.
Well,
Anyway,
actually,
sorry,
he has a
Rosalind.
picture of. Actually,
Oh,
you can't
that's
see
right.
it.
Okay,
Picture.
here we go.
Okay. Sorry, Rosalind. Somebody tell Rosalind.
But God did an amazing work in his
I'm
life.
sorry,
Okay. He has passion to reach out to others who are in a ditch of life. He serves as a wise and loving mentor in the rescue operation of their lives. God never gives up on us, even if we made poor choices in the past that has left us with regret. We can now choose how we live now. We can choose to construct a destructive living, simply wallow in regret, or we can run to Christ, believing that he is the way to restore. The years of the swarming locust has eaten, Joel 2:25, when we repentantly seek him, his healing, and freeing of power, he is merciful. While some consequences from the past may remain, we can be confident that God has a good and glorious future for those who trust in him. Joe Stowell. Lord, it is with humble and grateful hearts that we come to you and lay all that has been in the past at your feet. Take us as we are and make us beautiful out of our lives that brings glory to you. God never gives up on making something beautiful out of our lives. And read Joel 2:21-27. I will restore you the years of the swarming locusts have eaten. And there you have it.
Can I say something, Irvin?
Yeah.
Is the picture off now for Rosalind, Ed? Can I say something? Irvin, that was atrocious, and I have no patience whatever with these guerrilla damnifications of humanity.
What?
Let's forget it.
Oh, never mind.
I was combining wordsmith and eat your words.
Those damn locusts is what Gamer Girls
Those
said.
damn dirty apes.
Well, they've eaten away at...
Well, this day went by fast. Well, not the day. The morning flew by.
Well, you were late. So
I was, and I didn't mean to be, but hell, at least I was earlier than I could have been. If Bryant didn't get me, I would not have come till 10 o'clock.
I know.
So, I mean, but it's weird because Heather calls now and says she ended up not driving to work anyway. So I could have taken the car after all. But anyway, this is it. Thanks for the show, guys.
Thank you, guys.
We love you all.
Sorry, Rosalind. I put up the picture. I didn't realize.
Well, we'll do something new with that for Rosalind. We got to start taking the picture of Irvin down so she can see his lips during the daily break.
Well, actually, you can put it up.
Maybe there's a way you
she
go
can't
split
see
screen.
him. She was complaining about not being able to see Irvin's lips because of the Pope Irv.
Anyway.
You can post it.
Yeah.
Like he posts, that's what he should start doing. Post his daily bread on
Facebook.
Type as it posts on the screen.
Why not?
On. Give you something to do.
Give me something to do.
Type some shit all day. Like I do when I go to the library to put the fucking wordsmith on.
Okay.
Goodbye. It's Friday tomorrow. We love you all.
11:04. Definitely to check out.
Derek will talk about in the morning
42.
his review of 42. I say it's a good movie. I enjoyed it. They did a good job with it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go get my suit pressed and go take my mom to see it tonight.
That's gonna be great.
And Irvin might go with y'all.
Yeah, they may have a meeting over at McAllister's
to get around
Deli.
9:50. Yeah, that's right. There's a dinner beforehand with all the extras at McAllister's Deli on Zebulon, right?
Are you gonna be there?
I don't know. If Heather's cool with me going to see it again, because I would like to see it again. It's a good movie.
Where was it showing?
Amstar.
At Amstar.
It's the only movie theater we got, other than the Douglas. I mean, other than the Douglas and the Capitol. Yeah. But Amstar, yeah, it's at Amstar.
Where
and
is
it's
that?
not sold out. It's the big theater out of Zebulon. But we got to go. We love you guys. This is The Morning Roast. It was The Morning Roast on vonlive.tv/The Morning Roast. We do this Monday through Friday, 8 to 11 a.m. We couldn't do it without you all. Roll call real quick, Derek.
Definitely.
We'll say have a great
I'd like to
Thursday.
say thank you for Sabuki who just left earlier. Earl, Big Skillet, Jackson, Because 77, City Bum, Diaz Photo Guy, Rosalind Nicole.
Thanks, Rosalind.
Bean, Winchester 9708.
Thanks,
Uric
Bean.
Wildcat, Gamer Girl, Three Bears, Coffee Guy, Up Main, C Fluke, Obama's Cat, Fancy Fanny, and Jews.
Jews! Every good show needs a Jew. Or a Jewser.
The words of Anthony Harris are
Well, I mean, come on.
we
We have to have
Ty Cobb.
We have to have the token everything, right?
I guess you're
I'm the
related
token
to Ty-
asshole.
I
right?
guess you're related
The token
to
black
Ty
guy,
His
token
words
Jew, token spick. I mean, come on.
No, think about it. You're related to Ty Cobb, and
No,
you're related
but
to
I
Jackie
think Ty
Robinson.
Cobb was a badass baseball player. He had some beliefs that I don't agree with, but he did the job. That's why he's one of the first 5 in the Hall of Fame. Ty Cobb is one of the first 5 inductees in the Hall of Fame.
Tomorrow, I want to talk about one of my best friends.
Awesome player.
One of my best friends who just became appointed Supreme Court Justice for Queens, New York. We'll talk about him. One of my best friends.
Is he going to be on the show via Skype?
Yeah.
We'll have Derek Shapiro.
Really, really great guy. One of the nicest, sweetest guys you'll ever meet.
Wow.
And you want to have him as a judge because he don't play. But at the same time, he's very, very fair. So we'll talk about that tomorrow.
Yeah. Love you all. Have a great day. Be nice to each other, but don't take any shit from anybody.
Thank you.
Yes, take care. Everyone in Middle Georgia, please keep your umbrellas handy at 68 degrees. But it's going to be some afternoon and evening showers with a high of 83 and a low of 63.
Bye.
See you later.
Bye, Bean. I love the Hitchcock.
Oh, I love it.
Good show, guys. We gotta get
Good evening.
We do have to load up in the van, the coffee guy's van, and go do the show somewhere else. We gotta go to Athens, find somebody to let us do the show there.
Good evening.